From pretty much the present, this is your host, Adam Graham, bringing you a week of old-time radio detective podcasts from 2012. Because these podcasts are many years old, any offers or information included in the podcast may not be valid unless they're currently reflected on our Great Detectives of Old Time Radio website at greatdetectives.net. Here now is a week of old-time radio detective podcast. Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio from Boise, Idaho. This is your host, Adam Graham. If you have a comment, email it to me, box13 at greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives and call us 208-991-4783 and become one of our friends on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Detectives. Well, today's episode is brought to you by the support of our listeners. Thank you so much for all of your great financial support, and I especially want to say thank you to Guy, who sends along a nice donation, and will be sending along access to our premium site, which we do with all donations of $7 or more. All right, well, now it is time to get into today's episode of The Adventures of Frank Race. This one's called The Adventure of the Shanghai Incident.
The Adventures of Frank Race, starring Tom Collins. The war changed many things, the face of the earth and the people on it. Before the war, Frank Race worked as an attorney, but he traded his law books for the cloak and dagger of the OSS. And when it was over, his former life was over, too. Adventure had become his business. The Adventures of Frank Race. And now we join Frank Race for the adventure of the Shanghai Incident.
Our seat was a park bench that overlooked the oil-scummed waters of the East River. Everything considered, it wasn't what you'd call a glamorous atmosphere. But I was drowsy. The sun felt warm on my back. I didn't want to move.
Hey, Ray!
I flinched. The voice belonged to Mark Donovan. Never exactly a soothing influence. I hunched my shoulders and closed my eyes.
Hi. Got a guy who wants to see you.
I'll tell him I'm out.
He's waiting in the cab. He said to tell you his name is Bryson.
I broke my eyes at him. Matt Bryson, one of the best blocking backs that ever sized his way through a broken field. I know him. I carried the ball behind him on more than one of his jobs. Hadn't seen him for years. I got up and we went to the cab.
Oh, it's good to see you, boy. It's been a long time.
Too long, Matt. What are you doing for yourself?
Well, I guess you can say I'm in the same racket you are. Insurance. I'm running the American branch of Lloyd.
And when you say insurance, you mean insurance. Underwrite everything from weather to the possibility of tripping.
That's us. We've got a job for you. I was after you about a month ago, but you were in Europe.
Matt, I promised myself I wouldn't do a thing for a month. I still got 3 weeks to go.
You remember Chuck Howard, don't you?
Oh, of course. Very decent guy.
When we couldn't get you, we turned our assignment over to Chuck.
Did all right. He's a good operator.
He's a dead operator, Race. He was murdered on the job 3 days ago.
He's living.
I wish I were.
Chuck Howard had 3 kids.
I keep thinking of that.
How did it happen? Why?
We thought you might want to find that out for us.
What was the assignment?
Did you ever hear of South China Transport?
Yeah, it's an airline. I know some of the boys that fly the plane.
We indemnify them against cargo loss. And lately, there have been nothing but losses. They've been strewing valuable cargoes all over the countryside.
Well, the great countryside with such goings on. Just like contact over there.
A lad by the name of Jack Stacy. He handles operations. Used to be in the Navy. You'll probably find him pretty sick. He was badly wounded in the fracas that killed Chuck Howard.
Where would it be?
In Shanghai.
Running in Shanghai. I got the feeling that all of China was weak. Maybe I was thinking too much about Chuck Howard.
What do you know? To think that when I was 16, I tried to join the Marines just to free China.
What kept you out? Were you underweight?
Nah. Under the thumb of me old lady. She wouldn't sign the papers. Well, what's the picture, Nate? What do we do next?
I have to see a man named Stacy at a hotel called the Kalani.
Kalani, huh? Probably runs by a Lithuanian who calls himself Clancy. What do you want me to do? Go along with you?
Mark, whenever you ask a question like that, I always know you have a project in mind.
Well, they tell me there is a place here in Shanghai where you can get tattooing done, which will knock your papers.
Ah, that kid stuff. Don't they have enough of those things, then?
Oh, I want just one more. This guy does a dancer, which they say will keep you dreaming even after you're too old for it.
Ah, go on, then. Get your tattoo.
Good, I'll see us early enough so we can have supper together.
The lobby of the Hotel Kalani looked like the breakup of a Rose Bowl crowd. I spent 15 minutes at the desk just getting the number to Jack Stacy's room. Then, as I turned away, I felt a grip of fingers in my arm. I noticed something sharp against the side.
There is a divan at the far corner of the lobby, Mr. Ray. It would be discreet of you to accompany me there so that we may talk.
He had the face of a Buddha. He wore the clothes of a New York broker. Sensing that the sharpness against my side came from the point of a knife, I went with him. As we sat down, 3 other Chinese closing around us.
I am Lin Wan. Would you care for a cigarette?
No, thanks.
You are naturally wondering why I took such pains to converse with you.
Naturally.
It is because I wish to give you a warning, and at the same time offer you a sum of money.
So sweet.
I am going to ask you to forget your assignment, Mr. Ray, and to accept from us an amount that will soothe any abrasion to your pride.
Just like that.
On the other hand, should you choose to be difficult, I can promise you trouble of that exquisite nature for which we Chinese are noted. Besides, what can you really accomplish, Mr. Ray? Your investigations will take you into the open country of China, where you will find no worthwhile law enforcement authority.
We've run across that problem before, Mr. Lin.
Indeed.
When we lack local means of breaking up a racket, if you're familiar with the term,
I am thoroughly familiar with it.
we break it up ourselves.
Mr. Ray, I still have the point of a sharp blade pressed against the most vulnerable part of your person.
What chances of the fact?
It would be simple for me to drive it into your body. We would simply leave you sitting here.
And the point of that being that I should carefully consider your proposal.
Carefully. I shall give you until this evening to assure me that you will efface yourself. Until 6 o'clock this evening.
There's one factor about all this that piques my curiosity.
Yes?
As you pointed out, it would be such a small matter to murder me. What keeps you from doing it?
Perhaps, Mr. Ray, because I dislike violence. But that will not keep me from acting should your decision prove unsatisfactory.
I found Jack Stacy propped up on a couch in his room, his arm in a sling, disposition that matched for the weather.
That's a mess, Race. Somebody's trying to force us out. That's the size of it. We've been doing well. Too well, I guess. So now they're moving in.
No idea who killed Chuck Howard and crippled you.
The only thing I know about it is the bullet they took out of my arm. I really knew about that. We were short on anesthetic.
That's it? The slug on the mantle?
That's it.
38. But over here, that won't mean much. How do I know when you're going to fly those cargoes? Can't you keep it quiet?
I've done everything that make my people wear muzzles. Gets out somehow. They never miss.
What about your pilots? Could I talk to one?
Well, there's one of them in the hotel right now. I'll get him here for you in a few minutes.
Pilot showed up in about half an hour. Tall, weathered-looking Westerner.
Yeah, sure. They try to pump us. Try it all the time. Ain't cute about it, too. They use women. Mighty nice looking women.
Johnny?
Not the one I ran into. Might have been Russian, I'm not sure. Whatever she is, it's an awful exclusive path.
What's her name?
Alicia Bronson.
I don't suppose you know where she stays.
Most of the day I slip up on finding out a lady's address, I'm going to be ready for that old rocking ship.
All right, man. You just relieve yourself of that information right now. Hello, Miss Bryson.
Who is it?
My name is Ray.
How did you get in here?
The practice of bribery will do wonders in any part of the world. May I suggest that you turn up the light?
What is it you want?
I couldn't ask for it. In greater light, she was as Brand said. Through his passion. Tawny his skin and hair. The look of her gave me that odd feeling in my chest. One reminiscent of my first deep drag on a cigarette.
You stare at me. Why?
You must be used to it.
What do you want?
Last week, a friend of mine was murdered in Shanghai. Thought you might be able to tell me something about it.
I'm sorry. I can tell you nothing. Who was your friend?
A man called Charles Howard. You knew him, didn't you?
Yes, I knew him. A nice person, gentle and kind. I had nothing to do with his death, Ray.
Not directly, perhaps.
Nor indirectly. I told them nothing about Charles Howard.
Why does a girl like you have to become involved in such an affair?
Do you know what China's like for a woman who has no nationality? A woman who comes from a group of people who have no place in the world.
You're white Russian.
My father was white Russian, and my mother. What I am, I don't know.
So let's get back to Chuck Howard. How long did you know him?
A week or two. He was lonely here. He would talk about America, about his family. He was a nice person.
Who killed him?
I don't know, Ray.
I took hold of him. Pulled her close to me. The body felt lax in the spot. Suddenly, she stiffened in my arms. Her head turned. Her eyes stared at the darkness that opened into the room.
Ray.
A dark, bleak figure had etched itself inside the frame of the window. A figure with arm drawn back, with knife poised. I beat the throw by a hair, ducking as he let go. The blade thundered with regret as it went by me and bit into the door. Twisting for the window, I got hold of the thrower and...
Are you all right?
Yes, thanks to you. I won't forget it. Come with me.
Where?
Tell you in a minute. Come on. Hold it.
What are we doing, Ray?
Yeah. Look up at the building.
Huh?
Our knife throwing friend is trailing down from the balcony. Right, my friend. I brought you out here to keep you safe.
Why did you let him go, Ray?
He's small fry. I want to follow him to where the big ones are biting. My shadowing act ended in a run-down section of the foreign settlement. Here, the knife thrower disappeared into the recesses of a bleak-looking structure with all its windows boarded up. I strolled casually alongside the place, giving the heavy timbered door the once-over. I became conscious of shadowy figures around me. A familiar voice spoke out of the night.
Good evening, Mr. Ray.
Then one. This your place?
For you, Mr. Race, that can have no importance. I warned you that your time would be up by 6 o'clock this evening. It is now 9.
We'll return to the adventures of Frank Race in just about 1 minute. And now, back to the adventures of Frank Race.
Must have been 6 or 7 of them. The one nearest me I put out of action with a fast backhand at the end of battle. But they threw me off balance for Lin Wan and stepped in, gripped me with a hard wrist lock, and threw me against the wall of the house with a judo hold I hadn't been prepared for. On my back, I caught the first one with my feet and gave him a taste of a fall. Lin Wan came in, again kept me off balance, twisted me with a toe hold, pinning me face down. There came a sweet, compelling smell of chloroform and... I got back my senses. All places. On a train. Chinese train, if I'm not mistaken. From the position of the sun, I knew we were heading north.
Just can't seem to stop traveling.
Mark, what are you doing?
What I get for knocking around with you? How do you feel?
Like a first-class case of suspended animation. Yeah. It's had me out for quite a while.
All night. I think they give you some kind of a shot.
No, they seem to have this compartment to ourselves.
They got a guy outside the door. And there's a glad boy who drops in on us every once in a while.
Tell me, how'd they take you?
With a sash waiting to feel him. I am right now thanking me old man and me old lady for giving me this thick Irish skull.
Did you get your tattooing done?
Did I? What'd you say? Wait a minute. Let me get my sleeve up.
Remarkable piece of art.
Yeah, wait. Now look. I wiggly old muscle like this. Ain't that terrific, Ray? Just like Minsky's violinist on Broadway.
We kept rolling north. Now the sun reached the zenith midday, and until its glare mellowed into late afternoon. It was at this time that a man opened the door and motioned for Mark to leave the compartment. Then I had company. Lin Wan. He came over and sat down beside me.
I trust you are feeling no ill effects from your experience, Mr. Race.
I'm suffering from curiosity more than anything else.
Indeed.
You murdered Chuck Howard. Why hold back where I'm concerned?
Then the insurance company would send another man, and we would have to do it all over again. It is our opinion that we should just take you out of circulation for a few months. Besides, too many murders could bring unfavorable scrutiny from your government.
I'd say it was your government, too.
I do not comprehend.
Why don't you relax, Lin? You can cut it with Americanese as good as mine.
What gives you such an impression?
Your clothes, for one thing.
Purchased in London, Bond Street.
Purchased in Los Angeles, Spring Street. I'll give odds on that.
All right, Ray. But you must admit my way of handling myself is completely oriental.
You judo? That's good.
To learn it, I had to come to China.
You could have gotten in the States, I did.
But your judo is, shall we say, just a little tired. Oh,
He was slowing down for some reason. And as he lit his cigarette, the train lurched, causing the light to go out. He handed me the cigarettes and the small box of safety matches. I looked at it, grinned.
why do you smile?
I was thinking what a difference it makes to have an advantage. Shanghai, you had your boys to tip me off balance. This moment, you're the one who's behind the eight ball.
You will explain, won't you, Ray?
Yes. Now, this box with matches you handed me. I simply roll my fingers around it. Fast clout to the temple with a box of matches in your fist. It's always a good trick. Matches triple the impact. I was a little surprised he hadn't been hip to it. But we were even. He had a Colt 45 on him, the old Army model. This I confiscated, figuring that he owed it to me. Mark and I had to get off the train. There's still another lad to handle on the far side of that door. Unfortunately, he stood facing. We both fired at the same time.
Ray! I'm all right. I'm all right. Get his gun. You're bleeding. It's all over your face. Crease me. Get that gun. Hey, there's more of them coming. Now, get back in the compartment. Hey, they're going to break in. Yeah, we'll have to jump for it. Break the window. We're moving too fast. We'll have to try it. Break the window. All right. Let's go.
Donna is rough these days, particularly when it comes to travel. But you can get around if you carry weapons and money, and show a disposition to do. So we made it back to Shanghai, taking 4 days to do it. And at the Hotel Killarney, I found not only Jack Stacy and Brand the Flyer, but also Matt Bresnan, who had just flown in.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. When I heard you were missing, it was too much for me, so I came over.
I wish I could report a little progress, man.
How about this fellow who's been giving you so much trouble?
Lin Wan? He's an American. Part Chinese, but an American just the same.
Which probably means that he's plenty smart.
Ah, so you've got your arm out of the sling, Stacy. How's it feel?
Good as new.
Yeah, he needed as good as new this morning. He had to swim with it.
What happened?
Oh, Brand and I went out in a fishing junk and like a goofer fell overboard. Nothing serious. Brand slipped me a life buoy, and that's all there was to it.
Race, what about this Lin Wan? How are we going to handle him?
I don't know, man. I imagine we'll just have to wait until he pries into the picture again. Late that evening, just after market, slipped out the nightcap, I had a visitor.
Hello, Ray.
Come in.
I did the same for you, Ray. That is the reason I paid your company in America.
You did what?
I paid...
So you brought Matt Bresnan over here.
Matt Bryson?
He's a friend of mine, doesn't it?
Oh, I'm glad to see you back now.
Well, we left something unfinished the last time we saw her.
I remember. It was me.
She put her arms around me, tilted them out at time. When they tell you that such kisses taste like wine, they're crazy. Wine doesn't even come close.
I'm very fond of you, Ray.
Happened in a hurry, didn't it?
You think it is impossible for it to happen in a hurry?
No? No, I don't think it's impossible. But you might do something about it.
How?
Tell me who asked you to talk to Stacy's spies.
You know the man, Ray. Been one.
You ever say anything about others being tied in with him?
No. He just gave me a group picture of all the men who work for the airline.
Picture? Listen.
I may have it here in my purse. Wait.
What are you doing carrying a clip of 38s around you?
The bullets? They came from Chuck Howard's gun.
Chuck Howard's gun?
I was one of those who found him. He was still conscious. And he seemed to want me to have it.
Sort of a grim bequest. Where do you keep the gun?
That's my place.
Glad?
If you like. Here. Here is the picture. Yes. Does it tell you anything?
Tells me a lot. That gun may tell me more.
Do you want it tonight?
Not this late. I'll come by your apartment tomorrow. You keep the gun in a safe place?
Where no one would ever find it. In the center of a sack of salt.
got there next morning. As soon as I got to her door, I knew that something was wrong. The door stood half ajar. Inside the room, everything was chaos. Chairs overturned, broken, tables on their sides. I found the gun all right. Or Alicia said it would be. But Alicia was gone. I knew I'd have to move quickly. So I found a phone, called Jack Stacy.
Stacy speaking.
Mrs. Race, gonna need your help.
Sure, Race.
Do you know where to find Matt Bryson and that pilot of yours, Brand?
No, not right now, but I can probably locate him.
I told him to let it ride. He couldn't afford to wait. Gave him the location of the place in the farm settlement. The house where I bumped into Lynn Wan and Company. Stacy promised to be there now. And good as his word. Good stuff, eh?
Is this the headquarters?
That seems to be. And I think they're holding a girl here. Girl has been helping us. You willing to go in?
Sure, if you'll show me how.
No, I thought we might go in by way of this door.
With that lock to open, we'll need TNT.
I thought possibly you might have a key for it.
You thought that... I don't get it.
Neither did I. Till I remembered that you were supposed to have been in the Navy.
Well, I was in the Navy.
No, Stacy. Or whatever your name really is. No Navy man would ever say life boy. Pronunciation's optional, but we call them buoys in the Navy. Always. Move ahead of us and open the door.
Brother, this ain't no great white way.
Turn the flashlight straight ahead, Mark.
You're making a big mistake, Race. How could I take the place of another man?
By murdering him. And firing the men who'd been close to him. I saw a picture of the regular pilot group last night. The ones who were in it before you installed your own boys. Besides, the bullet that wounded you in the arm was fired from Chuck Howard's .38. I checked the ballistics.
All right.
Over, Mark.
Oh, you came to see us again, Ray.
Ray, they got John.
So have we. So that makes it even up.
Try to even this up.
I'm okay. Stacy took one of Lynn Wan's bullets.
Yeah, he took it all right. Might be 28.
How about you, Alicia?
I'm all right, Ray. Thanks to you, I'm quite all right.
Oh, brother, what a finish. Hey, how's that Lynn One carrying?
I shot him in the thigh. He should recover in time.
Yeah? Time for what?
To be executed. And over here, they do that in a rather sharp manner.
The Adventures of Frank Race, starring Tom Collins with Tony Barrett as Mark Donovan, comes to you from Hollywood. Others heard in tonight's cast were Gene Bates, Ted Von Eltz, Bert Holland, Barney Phillips, and Charlie Love. This series is written and directed by Buckley Angel and Joel Murcott. The music is composed and played by Ivan Ditmar. Be sure to be with us again this same time next week for another dramatic chapter in The Adventures of Frank Race. Art Gilmore speaking. This is a Bruce Ells production.
Welcome back. I want to apologize for the quality of these next few episodes. Most of the adventures of Frank Race, thanks to the old-time radio researchers and their fantastic certified complete set, are very good sound quality. Unfortunately, there are a few exceptions. There's 5 weeks of episodes now. And 2 weeks later in the series, there are the 32 in code. Most of them are at the 128. This was I thought, just a fun chase story. And really, this one, is I think just a wonderful show. It engages your mind trying to figure out what's going on, and also always keeps the excitement going with whatever Race and Donovan are going through. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode despite the less than stellar sound. And we'll be back next week with another adventure of Frank Race. And be sure and join us tomorrow for The Fat Man. Well, today's episode is brought to you by the financial support of our listeners. And I want to thank especially Cynthia for sending along a contribution. And as we do with all contributions of $7 or more, we'll be sending access to our premium site. Well, so on some series, it's important to note the date of the broadcast. You might, just by the sheer number of Fat Man episodes we have to play for you, get the impression that the Fat Man was kind of a short series. We have just one more episode of The Fat Man than we did of the Poirot radio series we did a few months back. But The Fat Man was a much longer-lived series. Poirot lasted about one season. But J. Scott Smart played the Fat Man from January of 1946 to September of 1951. This was a very long incumbency in a role for any character. For comparison, how long did J. Scott Smart play the Fat Man? He played that character longer than Bob Bailey played Johnny Dollar. He played that character longer than Sam Spade was even on the air with both stars. This was a very long-running and popular series just because of some of the factors working against it. We don't have a whole lot in circulation, but always keep that in mind. All right, well, now it's time to listen to today's episode. It is from July 8th, 1946, and the title is The Black Angel.
Weight, 237 pounds. Fortune, danger. Who is it?
The Fat Man.
The American Broadcasting Company brings you the adventures of Dashiell Hammett's latest and most fascinating character, the Fat Man, a fast-moving criminologist who tips the scales at 237 pounds. Tonight's adventure, the Black Angel. And now, here is the Fat Man.
A fat man is not supposed to have the physical endurance and staying power of the thinner, leaner boys. When he lugs that extra weight around, he loses his wind quicker and his muscles tire faster. If you've ever made a forced march with 50 or 60 pounds of equipment on your back, you know what I mean about a fat man's extra weight. But quick thinking will save a tremendous amount of energy. And a fat man has to save his energy in my business because you need every bit of it when you're fighting with a murderer. It's funny how much you can tell about a person at a glance, especially if you've trained yourself to take in everything. I liked this guy the minute he walked in my office, and I felt sorry for him. I liked him because his eyes were honest and intelligent. He was in his late 30s, nice-looking without being handsome. His conservative, well-made clothes told me he had a commuter's ticket in his pocket and a growing bank account he'd earned himself. I felt sorry for him as he stood in front of my desk.
because I'd seen the same expression on the face of a soldier in Belgium when his wife wrote him she wanted a divorce. He didn't waste any time, and I knew he was telling the truth.
Mr. Runyon, my name is Atchison, John Atchison.
Sit down, Mr. Atchison.
Oh, thanks. I hope you'll understand.
I always try to. What's the trouble?
I don't like this sort of thing. I don't like anything sneaky or underhanded, but there's nothing else I can do. I can't stand it any longer. It's driving me crazy. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I walked around the block 4 times before I could make myself come in.
Wife trouble?
Why, yes. How did you know?
There are a lot of wives and a lot of husbands. You'd be surprised how many of them come in here.
Yes, I suppose so. I suppose it's an old story. I guess I'm a fool, but I never thought it could happen to me.
Another man?
Well, I'm not sure. Don't you see? That's the trouble. I'm not sure. I know there's somebody, but I've got to find out the truth. I've got to know before I lose my mind.
Have you asked your wife about it?
Oh, no, of course not. Don't you understand? I love Peggy. I love her more than anything in the world, and I've always trusted her. If I were wrong, I could never forgive myself.
I understand. You want me to find out who this guy is and what's going on?
Yes. I simply want to know the truth.
Maybe hard to take.
I can take it.
Okay, Atchison. Now, tell me why you're suspicious. What's happened?
It started only 3 days ago. I came home early. Peggy was talking on the telephone, and she didn't hear me come in. I heard her say, "But, Angel, John mustn't know." I was stunned. I couldn't believe my ears. And then she said, All right. I'll meet you in the same place at 9 tonight.
Did she know you'd heard her?
Oh, no. I waited a few minutes, then walked in. She seemed flustered and surprised that I was home early, but said nothing about the phone call. That night, she said she was going to see her girlfriend.
You didn't try to follow her?
Oh, no. I couldn't bring myself to that. Besides, I kept hoping that I'd been mistaken, that maybe she hadn't said that at all.
Never had any reason to suspect her before, eh?
Never.
It's just possible, Atchison, that what you heard her say on the phone might have had a different meaning from what you suspect.
Oh, but how could it?
How long have you been married?
Not quite a year.
What do you know about your wife's past?
Why, actually, I know very little about her past life. I never questioned her. She has no family, and...
Where'd you meet her?
Oh, she was the cashier in one of those dance halls, a place called the Tropical Gardens. Oh, I know what you're thinking, Runyon, but you're wrong. I used to be lonely, and, well, I went there sometimes. She wasn't like the others. We fell in love and got married.
I see. You know, it might not be another man at all, Atchison. It might be something worse.
What?
Blackmail.
Blackmail? I hadn't thought of that. That might explain...
Explain what?
The money.
What money?
The $300 that's missing from our savings account.
Say, you fat men sure know how to dance, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing you here in the gardens before. You're a new one, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
You aren't very talkative, are you?
Not usually. Are you?
What do you mean by that? Of course I like to talk.
Well, that's swell. Maybe you can tell me something.
What?
Do you remember a girl named Peggy that used to work here? She was a cashier.
Oh, sure I remember Peggy. Why?
Well, I'm trying to find her. I thought maybe somebody here could tell me something about her.
Hey, wait a minute, mister. Who are you trying to kid?
Nobody, sweetheart. I'm related to her. The folks think something has happened to her. I thought maybe I could find out who her friends were when she were here, or if she'd had any trouble.
Boy, you kill me.
Yeah?
Yeah, you never saw Peg in your life.
What makes you think so?
Because she's sitting right over there at that table in the corner.
Oh, the girl sitting alone?
Yeah, that's Peg. There was a guy with her a minute ago, but he ain't there now. Say, what's your racket anyway?
I'm a Hollywood talent scout, sister.
Here, buy yourself a new mink coat.
Tell him, Scout.
Hello, Peggy.
What?
Don't you remember me?
Why, no. I used to meet so many men here.
Well,
but
you didn't meet me here.
Where did I meet you?
I'm a friend of John's.
John?
Yeah. Mind if I sit down?
Please. He'll be right back in a minute, and...
Who's he?
Listen. I don't know your name, but if you're a friend of John's, you'll forget you saw me here tonight, and you'll never tell him.
Why? Because what a husband doesn't know won't hurt him?
No. You don't understand, and I can't explain.
Are you in trouble?
Yes.
Maybe I can help you.
No, I don't think so. I don't think anyone can help me.
Well, tell me about it.
No. Not now, not here.
Where then?
Meet me tomorrow at the Primrose Bar at 1 o'clock.
Okay, honey, but be there. You don't show up, I'm going to have a talk with your husband.
I'll be there. But please, John mustn't know anything about this. He mustn't know anything at all.
Why not?
Because if he found out, he might be murdered.
Runyon?
Yeah.
Pleased to meet you, Runyon. I've heard about you. My name's Caldwell. I'm an operative from San Francisco. Maybe you've heard of me.
Not that I recall, but there's something familiar about you.
I had a bad break not long ago. I did my job too well and got my mug plastered all over a lot of newspapers. Maybe you saw my picture.
Maybe. Could be that.
It's hurt my work a lot. Too many people know me.
Fame does have its drawbacks.
Yeah.
You're a long way from home, Caldwell.
That's why I came to see you, Runyon.
Oh? Here on the job?
That's right. I've got no connections here, and I might need a little help. I thought maybe you'd like to give it to me. There might be a lot of dough in it for you.
How much is a lot?
Say $5,000?
That is a lot of money, Caldwell.
Yeah, for $5,000, a man is a sucker to ask too many questions.
You know, that's a funny thing, Caldwell. That's exactly what I think.
We're going to get along swell.
Sure. Now, tell me about the job.
Well, about a couple of weeks ago, a guy comes into my office and makes me a proposition. It seems a pal of his disappeared with $100,000 in cash, and half of it belonged to my client. He wanted me to find his pal.
Where did the $100,000 come from?
I don't know, but let's just say it was dropped by a careless bank messenger, and these two guys found it lying in the street.
Finders keepers,
Yeah.
And now you want to shed the client and do a little finders keepers on your own?
That's the general idea. After all, the dough doesn't belong to either of them. The client's out on the coast. The climate here doesn't agree with them.
You found this client's pal, the guy with the dough?
I found him. He's here in town, registered in a hotel under a phony name.
And the money, you think he's got it with him?
I think he's got it hidden somewhere in his hotel room.
Where do I come in? And why, if there's $100,000 in it, do I only get $5,000?
A minute ago, that was a lot of money.
That was a minute ago.
It's still enough for what I want you to do. I'll do the tough part.
What's the easy part?
All you do is get this guy out of the hotel and keep him out until I can give the room a good going over and get the dough.
Oh, that does sound easy.
It's a cinch. Once I get the money out of the room, we're safe. He can't go to the police.
What about your client?
Don't worry about him.
Well, how do I know you won't cross me up?
You don't know it. You just have to trust me.
I don't like it.
It'd be a sap to pass up such an easy $5,000. I won't cross you.
Well, how do you know I won't go to the cops for this story?
What good would it do? You don't know these two guys? Besides, there's another good reason why you won't do that.
What's the other reason?
This gun in my pocket.
Oh, you play rough,
Plenty rough. Well, how about it? Is it a deal?
Okay. Count me in.
That's better. Meet me at 8 o'clock tonight at the corner of 50th and 8th Avenue.
What's the guy's name and what hotel's he in?
Do I look like a sap? I'll tell you at 8 tonight.
Okay.
I'll see you at 8 then.
Yeah. Hello?
Hello, Brad. This is O'Hara.
Yeah? What's on your mind?
Listen, Brad. You remember a gang of bank robbers operating in the Middle West a couple of years ago, led by a guy named Angel Black?
Yeah. I remember something about it. Didn't the papers call him the Black Angel?
That's right. If you remember, he was caught and sent up for life. But one member of the gang, a fellow called Snyder, was never pulled in, and the loot from a couple of bank jobs was never found.
Hey, wait a minute, O'Hara. What about this guy, Angel Black?
Well, he escaped from prison about a week ago, and we just got a tip he's somewhere in this vicinity. I want you to keep your eyes open for him.
What's he look like?
Well, he's short, heavy-set, jet black hair, and I
It's
think...
not black anymore, O'Hara. It's red. And he's wearing a red mustache.
What are you talking about? How do you know?
He just left my office about 2 minutes ago. You're late.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry, but I had to be careful. I was afraid I might be followed.
Your husband?
No. The man I was with last night. You saw him, didn't you? He has red hair and a red mustache.
No, not last night.
But I don't understand. He saw you at my table. When you left, he walked after you. Didn't he speak to you?
No, but 2 and 2 are rapidly making 4.
What do you mean?
I think your friend followed me home last night. How did you get mixed up with Angel Black, Mrs. Atchison?
You know him? You know who he is?
Yeah.
But how?
Never mind that.
No, you've got to tell me. How did you know it was the angel? Don't you see he's desperate?
He came to see me this morning.
What did he say? What did he want?
Made me a proposition.
Oh, you shouldn't have sat at my table last night. Don't you understand it's a trap? He'll kill you. He'll kill John, too. That's why John mustn't know.
You still haven't told me where you come in on this business.
I used to know the guy. I was his girl. We were going to be married.
Were you one of his gang?
No. At least I never knowingly was. I didn't know the truth about him. When I found out, it was too late. He made me go with him when things got too hot. They finally got him and sent him up. I never went back home. I came here and got a job in the tropical gardens.
How did Angel find you?
I don't know. It was 4 nights ago. I'd gone down to the drugstore for something and was walking home. The street was dark and deserted.
Hello, Peg.
What? Who are you?
Don't you recognize me, Peg?
Angel.
Yeah. Who else? Let me look at you.
But, Angel, how did you get...
Never mind that, baby. I'm out, and I come back for you.
No, Angel, don't, please.
For 2 years, I've been waiting for this.
Let go of me.
Hey, wait a minute. What's the idea?
No, Angel. Please, don't you understand? I'm married now. I'm happy. I'll try to forget all that.
You're not forgetting anything, baby. You're leaving with me. They won't get me again. Listen, Peg, I know where the money is.
Money?
Yeah, $100,000. They never found it because that rat Snyder got away with it, but I found him. He's registered here in the city at the Gilroy Hotel on the name of Cooley. He's got the money with him in cash.
How do you know?
Word gets around, even in jail.
But the police, they'll find you.
Oh, no, they won't. That's where you're going to help me.
No, I told you that's all over.
Listen, and get this straight. If you like this guy you're married to, you'd better do what I say.
You wouldn't.
Wouldn't I? Now then, I need some dough to get some clothes and dye my hair. You're going to give it to me.
But...
If you want your husband to keep his health, you'll have it for me tomorrow. And don't try any funny business or you'll get it, too.
All right, I'll get you some money, but afterwards...
Afterwards, you're coming with me. After I knock off Snyder and get the dough.
Kill?
Yeah. And anybody else who gets in my way. Don't you forget it.
Next day, I gave him $300. And then last night, he insisted I meet him again.
You're sure it's the Gilroy Hotel Snyder is hiding in?
Yes. What can I do? What if John finds out?
Just sit tight and play along with Angel. Agree with anything he says. Personally, I don't think you'll hear from him again.
Why not?
Because tonight he's planning to kill Snyder, get the money, and then kill me. Yeah, this is it, O'Hara. Hotel Gilroy.
Yeah, cheesy-looking dump, isn't it?
Yeah. Nevertheless, let's go in. Hey, clerk. What room is Mr. Cooley in?
510, top floor.
Is he in now?
How should I know?
Is his key in the box?
No. I guess he's in.
Come over here closer.
Yeah, what's the matter?
Look.
Oh, please.
That's right.
Listen, this is a respectable hotel. We don't want no trouble.
Neither do we. Give us the pass key.
Oh, okay. Here.
There may be some shooting upstairs. Keep everybody off the 5th floor till we come down.
Yeah, sure. Say, what's this guy Cooley done?
Never mind. Come on, O'Hara.
All right. What time is it, Brad?
10 after 3.
The other one was to meet you at 8 tonight?
Mm-hmm.
5 hours from now.
Well, here we are. 5:10. It's down this way. Get out your gun.
Don't worry.
Here it is. Easy now.
He's not in.
I don't know. Wait a second. Open up, Cooley. If you don't, we're coming in shooting. Come on.
Brad, look.
No wonder he didn't answer.
What a mess.
See if it's Cooley.
Yeah. The back of his head smashed like an egg. So Angel got here first after all.
Maybe it was an Angel.
Of course it was. Look at this room. He really tore it apart.
Looking for the money. I wonder if he found it.
He must have. That much money in cash would be hard to hide. And what are you going through his pockets for?
I'm looking for the key to this room. Hasn't got it on him. I wonder...
What?
Listen, O'Hara. I want you to do something, and I don't want you to ask any questions.
What is it, Brad?
Forget that we've been here.
Forget it. Are you nuts?
You've got to forget it. Only for the time being, though. I've got a hunch this business isn't over yet.
But I can't do that.
Sure you can. I'm going to lock this door and give the pass key back to the clerk downstairs. As far as he's concerned, Cooley wasn't here.
But what about the maid?
Too late for the maid. Nobody will find this body until tomorrow morning. That is, nobody who'll care to report it. Quick, O'Hara. Over here in this doorway.
You're crazy to try and pull this alone, Brad. I shouldn't let you do it.
Now, take it easy. I know what I'm doing. Angel's no fool, and he can spot cops a mile away. If you had men planted near me, he'd never make his play. This way, I can get him for you alive.
But you said yourself he was gunning for you.
Not the way you think, O'Hara. That's why I wanted you to keep quiet about Snyder's murder.
I don't get it.
I think he's going to try and frame Snyder's murder on me.
On you?
Sure. Don't you see? It'd be a cinch. That is, it would have been if we hadn't already found the body. As long as he thinks I'm a dumb dick trying to pick up an easy $5,000, he can't miss.
Why?
He'll meet me, send me up to the room, supposedly to get Snyder out. Then he'll tip the police.
Oh, I get it.
Sure, they'd catch me there red-handed.
Yeah, but suppose the girl tips him off that you know who he is.
That's a chance I've got to take. For the time being, I'm betting she's on the level. Everything ought to go okay, unless...
Unless what?
Unless Angel didn't kill Snyder.
But you don't think...
It's a possibility. Okay, O'Hara, it's nearly 8. Stay here in this doorway. I'm going to walk down there now and meet Angel. Don't show yourself. But if we start walking, follow us and be sure he doesn't spot you.
Okay, Brad, but be careful.
Hello, Runyon.
Hey, you're right on time.
There's an alley over here. Let's walk down there.
Oh, why the alley?
We can talk better there.
Okay. What's the deal?
You got a gun on you?
Yeah, why?
I just wondered. You might need it.
I don't like guns. That wasn't in the deal.
I know, but this Cooley's a tough baby.
Cooley?
Yeah, that's his name. Now, listen. Here's what I want you to do. He's living on a little cheap hotel, the Gilroy. It's on Clover Street. His room is 510.
How do you know if he'll be there?
I don't know for sure, but he never goes out. That's why I needed help on a deal. To get him out of the room.
Oh, I get it.
You go over there and bust in his room. Got a pass key?
Sure.
Good. Don't knock. Just go right in. Act tough. Tell him you're the house dick, that the manager wants to talk to him about his bill or something. When you get him downstairs, call him Mr. Jones. He'll say that isn't his name. You've made a mistake. Apologize and insist on buying him a drink.
It sounds simple enough, doesn't it?
Sure. In the meantime,
No, Angel. Stop.
Well, somebody's coming.
No. You
Shut up,
killed him.
you fool. He isn't dead. I slugged him. What's the idea of following me?
Runyon.
Hey, come on. It's a trap.
That's what
Come on.
Stop!
Brad, are you all right?
Yeah, I think so. He slugged me when the girl...
Yeah, I saw her run down here. She must be in it with him. She came to warn him.
Can they get away?
Yeah.
Come on.
Where are we going?
Back to the Gilroy Hotel.
Why?
Because I think the $100,000 is still hidden somewhere in Snyder's room.
What makes you think the killer didn't find the money?
Two things, O'Hara. In the first place, the key to the room is missing. The murderer kept it so he could get back in the room later, after the murder had been discovered and the body had been removed.
Well, what's the other reason?
The fact that Angel was so anxious to frame the murder on me. If he'd gotten the money, he wouldn't have bothered with me.
But he came to you before he killed Snyder.
Yeah, but when he first came to me, I think he was planning to kill me in the alley.
But why?
Because he'd seen me talking to the girl the night before, and he knew I was a detective. Later, when he couldn't find the money, that he decided to frame me for Snyder's murder.
Yeah, but where is the money? The place had been torn apart. It wasn't in the room.
That's what I mean, O'Hara. Well, here we are.
All right.
Come on.
Hey, I wonder what's the matter. All the people running toward the side of the hotel.
I don't know. Oh, here comes the room clerk. What's the matter back there?
Oh, and 510 just jumped out the window. Say, aren't you
Yeah.
the big?
Quick, O'Hara.
Let's go here.
Stand back. I'm from police headquarters.
Why, that's not Mr. Cooley.
No, it's Angel Black, and he's dead.
But what could have happened? Mr. Cooley murdered right in this room, and this red-headed man dead?
Never mind that. You say this red-headed guy came in with a girl about 15 minutes before you heard the crowd yelling outside?
Yeah, it may have been less than that.
And this other guy, the one who came in after them.
Well, he seemed nervous. He was nice looking, about 35. Guess what room Mr. Cooley was in? I told him, and he went up. Several minutes later, I heard the noise outside and went out, and, well, you know the rest.
Oh, wait a minute. Who was this third guy, Brad?
Must have been Atchison, the girl's husband.
What was he doing here?
He must have followed his wife, or Angel.
Oh, well, then it's plain enough to me, Brad.
Yeah?
Sure. Angel and the girl bump into Snyder's room. He finds the money. The girl's husband comes in. They have a fight, and Angel gets shoved out the window. The girl and her husband take the money and beat it during the confusion downstairs.
That's a good story, O'Hara. But that isn't what happened.
Well, the money's gone, and it wasn't on Angel when he was shoved out the window.
He wasn't shoved, O'Hara.
Are you trying to tell me he committed suicide?
No. It was an accident.
An accident? Are you nuts? The girl and her husband killed him for the money.
They couldn't have done that, O'Hara.
Why not?
Because the money is still where Cooley hid it.
Where?
Come over here by the window. Look, O'Hara. On that little ledge around the corner.
Well, I'll be... A briefcase.
Yeah. And it's got the money in it.
Then Angel must have been trying to reach it. You see, you can't reach it from here. You'd have to climb out onto the ledge.
Yeah.
He must have seen the briefcase and climbed out to get it. The girl saw a chance and shoved him over. We'd better get out an alarm to pull her in right away.
Now, hold it, O'Hara. The only thing that girl did was try to save her husband's life and happiness. She loved her husband, O'Hara.
But still, she must have shoved...
Look here. See how slick this ledge is? The guy slipped as he was reaching for the money.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right at that.
Sure I am. He was in a hurry, O'Hara, and he fell. And a black angel doesn't have wings.
Next week at this time, the American Broadcasting Company brings you another adventure of Dashiell Hammett's exciting new character, the Fat Man. Next week's story is called The Skull's Ballroom. And as the Fat Man says...
A ballroom is usually a gay, carefree place filled with happy, dancing couples. But this isn't true of the Skull's Ballroom. There, the couples are ghosts of the past, and the slow waltz they do is the dance of death.
Tonight's adventure of the Fat Man, played by J. Scott Smart, was produced by Charles Powers. Music was under the direction of Bernard Green. Sergeant O'Hara is played by Ed Begley. This is Gene Kirby speaking. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Welcome back. I just absolutely love the way these shows are written. And the endings so often diverge from what we traditionally expect from radio detective shows. Just incredibly clever writing, and Jack Smart absolutely on all the time. So I'm eagerly awaiting bringing you next week's episode of The Fat Man. Join us tomorrow for Let George Do It. Well, today's episode is brought to you by the financial support of our listeners. Thank you so much for all of your support during the recent listener support campaign and always. Well, now it's time for today's episode of Let George Do It, A Matter of Honor.
Personal notice. Danger's my stock and trade. If the job's too tough for you to handle, you got a job for me, George Valentine. Write full details.
Standard Oil Company of California invites you to Let George Do It. Before we begin tonight's adventure of George Valentine, here's an important safety reminder. Driving in wet, rainy weather can be dangerous if your windshield wipers aren't doing their job right. So don't wait until the rains. Play safe now. Car Savers will inspect your windshield wiper blades and arms and make replacements if necessary. Drive in now and ask Car Savers for a windshield wiper checkup at any standard station or independent Chevron gas station where they say and mean, we take better care of your car. And now, tonight's story, A Matter of Honor, another adventure of George Valentine.
Mr. Medford, please calm down. I can't even make out what you're trying to say.
I'm trying to say that I need help right away. Please.
Well, that much I got, but listen on the extension, will you, Brooksy?
Yes, George.
My head, it's so painful. Somebody hit me from behind, and my room, it's practically torn apart.
Well, it's a matter for the police, I'd say.
No, it isn't only that. There's more to it than robbery. There's something mysterious going on, sinister.
Such as?
Something awful is going to happen. And on the last day, too.
The last day of what?
The annual convention of the Magicians Club at the Beach Plaza.
The Magicians Club? Oh, look, Mr. Medford, I'm sure this looks very momentous to you,
At
but...
the banquet tonight, we're going to present a new illusion, Mr. Valentine. And at the last moment, Princess Elsa, who invented it, has asked us to change its name.
Well, women have been known to change their minds about more important things.
Change it from the usual way these things are known, the Elsa illusion, to the Deadly Avenger. Thanks for getting here so quickly, Mr. Valentine.
I'm afraid I'm a sucker for mystery and magicians.
This is Mrs. Medford.
Hello.
Hello. This is Miss Brooks, my assistant.
Hi.
I see your room really was going over with a right good will.
Well, I keep telling Robert it must have been just a hotel parlor.
Arlene, please. Mr. Valentine, I'm chairman of the entertainment committee. Third year state. It's a great honor. I'm one of the few amateur magicians in the club.
If you folks will excuse me, I've heard this before.
But Arlene...
See you later, everybody.
You have a very lovely wife, Mr. Medford.
Yes, I'm a very lucky man. In everything. I'm in the wholesale grocery business, you know. Quite successful. But magic is my real love. And this affair tonight must come off without a hitch.
Or you'll never be asked to be chairman of the entertainment committee again.
That's right.
Well, tell me, just what happened here in this room?
Well, about an hour ago, I guess it was, I came up here. You see, it's a two-room suite. Most of us have two-room suites. That's one of the reasons we chose the Beach Plaza, you know.
Yes, go on.
Yes, well, I saw what happened to all the things here on the desk in the closet, but before I could do anything, someone sneaked up behind me. He must have been in the bedroom and hit me hard. See?
Done by somebody who obviously loved his work.
But really, Mr. Medford, just because the name of a new magic illusion has changed, and this could be the work of a petty thief,
but nothing was stolen. Not a thing of value. I do have some pretty valuable things around, and they weren't touched. Oh, excuse me. Hello? Yes, of course, it's Medford. Now, Geach, I ask you to behave yourself. You what? Oh. No, you stay where you are. I'll be right there. That was Charlie Geach, another member of the club. He's just found his room torn apart, too.
No, nothing of value has been taken. That's not what they were looking for. No, sir.
Have you any idea what they were looking for, Mr. Geach?
That's not going to help them. No, sir. You'll see tonight. You'll see.
Now, Charlie, please, don't make things any more difficult for us than they are. And I ask you to go easy at the bar.
I always go easy, but I also get it steady, too, old boy. I've got things to forget. I'm still a pretty good magician. Nothing in my hands. Right, my dear young lady?
Right.
With my sincere admiration for your loveliness, a bouquet of roses.
Why, thank you.
That's very good, Mr. Geach. But to come back again to the mysterious they you're talking about.
Talking? Talk too much. I won't talk anymore.
Mr. Geach, I looked for you.
Oh, what has happened here?
Come in, Princess. We have company. Charming company. This is Princess Elsa. Mr. Valentine, Miss Brooks, very good friends of mine.
Hello.
Well, everything ready for the big moment tonight, Princess? The Deadly Avenger?
Yes, and I'm very nervous, too. But this room, all the things on the floor.
Oh, I'm just a very untidy person, Princess. And a very tired one.
You will take care of yourself, won't you, Mr. Geach?
Yes, I will.
I think perhaps we must better leave. I want you to come and help me, Mr. Geach.
Well, it'll be my pleasure. And an honor. Excuse us, everybody.
Goodbye.
A whole hotel full of magicians, and she picks one who can hardly stand up straight. Why babbling of honor, and why does she insist on changing that confounded name for the night, the Deadly Avenger? I tell you, Valentine, that...
Medford! Mr. Medford, where are you?
Oh, no. Mr. Plimmer. That's Langford Plimmer, our president.
Langford Plimmer. Sounds like something out of Dickens.
We're in here, Mr. Plimmer.
Mr. Medford, what is going on in this hotel?
Well, Mr. Plimmer,
I just walked into my room, and you'll never guess what I saw.
The room was turned upside down, but nothing was taken.
Why, George, darling, you're wonderful.
Well, Brooksy, we're rid of Medford for a while anyway.
He was beginning to give me the jitters with his fluttering around.
Let me see that list. Suite 618, Dennis the Amazing.
Joe the Great. Mo the Incomparable. Oh, so many modest people.
Just in the great tradition, Angel.
Anyway, that seemed to be as far as the mysterious prowler went. All the other rooms were undisturbed.
The rum pot of the convention, the chairman of the entertainment committee, and the president of this whole mystic crew. Now, why were those particular rooms gone over with a fine-tooth comb?
Room 624 around the corner. That's the one Princess Elsa has. Shall I check there?
Yeah, fine. I'll take Dennis the Amazing, and then we'll be through.
Check. I'll see you.
Okay.
Yes?
Mr. Dennis?
Yes, I'm Dennis.
Well, my name is George Valentine. I'm gathering some material for an article on the Magicians Club. And I was wondering if I couldn't go inside with you and we might be able to discuss some...
Stick out or I'll bash your head in.
Look, friend, all I wanted to do
I
was...
told you to beat it, didn't I?
So you're looking for a game of ping pong, eh, Jungle Jim?
That's right.
Okay, I serve first.
I'll kill you.
What do I have to do to make you sit down? Well, now I know. What was all that fireworks about? Just let me move you away from the door, Buster. No one here. Not a thing touched. I'd swear he was trying to tip off someone in here. So that's it. A cigarette, and still burning. A cigarette with lipstick on it.
So our friend Dennis the Bachelor had a visitor?
Yeah, and I have some sore knuckles to prove it. What about Princess Elsa?
Not in. But her door wasn't locked. I took the liberty of peeking.
Why, Brooksy?
The room apparently wasn't touched. George, I don't want you to think I'm one of those girls who doesn't catch on quick. But I don't catch on at all.
Oh, you and me both. I guess we'll just have to be a couple of curious guests at the banquet tonight. Cream turkey, peas, chocolate parfait.
I guess even magicians can't do anything to change a banquet menu.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
Here, the president.
I thank you. Fellow magicians, I want to welcome you to the final session of this highly successful convention. And I want to welcome you in the name of our honored profession, which is as old as man itself. And in the names of those immortal masters who during their lives have mystified and beguiled millions upon millions of people all over the world. Comus and Torini, Robert Houdin and Alexander Herman, Harry Keller, the Great Thurston. Now, this is a proud moment.
And the right moment for me to address the club.
Please, Mr. Geek.
On a matter of honor. We're all interested in honor.
Now, Mr. Geach, Charlie, just sit down, like a good fellow.
Aren't we interested in honor?
There's a good fellow, Geach. You just sit right down.
Now we can go right on, everybody.
Now, as I was saying, this is a proud moment, ladies and gentlemen, because one of our members, a charming and talented young lady, is going to introduce a new illusion. And an illusion, my friends, is the proudest achievement of our craft. A triumph of perseverance and genius. Thurston sawing a girl in half. Keller's The Vanishing Horse.
Timmer's Fantasia.
Oh, thank you. Yes, and my own Fantasia, which has been the cornerstone of my career during the last 8 years. Well, anyway, here is Princess Elsa.
My dear colleagues, in a few seconds, this room will be darkened to allow me to make the final preparations. I shall then endeavor to make vanish from a platform 10 feet in the air a giant statue more than 8 feet tall.
Wow.
A statue which represents the conscience that is within all of us.
Well.
The conscience that I have decided will give title to my illusion, the Deadly Avenger.
Well, that sounds like a nice.
So, out with the lights.
Lights, please.
Thank you. And if I may have your complete silence. Music, please.
The Deadly Avenger.
The princess must be all right to try and stump the experts.
The Deadly Avenger. A matter of honor.
Darling, please stop mumbling. Oh, George! George!
Turn on the light! Geach. Charlie Geach.
He slumped from his chair right at my feet.
Please, everybody, don't crowd around.
George. I'm beginning to feel slightly feminine.
Yeah, Brooksy. Whoever decided he had to shut up Charlie Geach with that letter opener took no chances. No chances at all. Charlie is dead.
In just a moment, we'll return to tonight's adventure of George Valentine. Did you know that the gasoline in your car performs differently depending on the temperature, the humidity, and the altitude? Did you also know that you can buy a gasoline that is designed for winter driving? One of Chevron Supreme's all 8 high-performance qualities is area blending, which means that Chevron Supreme is specially blended for every climate and area. The Chevron Supreme you buy in Los Angeles, for instance, is refined differently from that which you buy in the Salt Lake area or San Francisco Bay region. For Chevron Supreme gasoline is always right for the kind of driving you do where you do it. And that's just one of the all 8 necessary high-performance qualities in every gallon. In addition, you get mileage, power, anti-knock, vapor lock prevention, starting, warm-up, and acceleration. So for top all-round driving pleasure, wherever you drive in the West, just remember to fill her up with the gasoline that gives you all 8 Chevron Supreme gasoline at standard stations or independent Chevron gas stations where they say and mean we take better care of your car. A convention of famous magicians and a thrilling climax to top it off. Yes, you're invited to the promised debut of a new illusion to be called the Deadly Avenger. But then, in the darkness, a woman screams in horror, and Charlie Geach, a little man who kept mumbling about a manner of honor, is found dead, murdered. If your name is George Valentine, you call Lieutenant Johnson of homicide, but you go to work even before he arrives.
Tell me something, Medford.
Yeah?
What do you know about Geach's background? He seems to be a kind of big question mark as far as everyone's concerned.
Well, he dropped out of the club for many years. As I remember, when the war broke out, he was working in Europe someplace. Wasn't that it, Plimmer, around the same time you were?
Oh, yes, I believe so.
Yes, well, he came back only recently, a completely changed man. I'm afraid he's been drinking pretty heavily all through the last few days, so I don't suppose anyone has been able to find out too much about him.
Princess Elsa seems to have been pretty friendly with him. She's out there now, just sitting and staring into space with the deadest, most frightened look in her eyes. George, is there anything we can do now?
No. Just keep adding a matter of honor plus how did the killer work in split seconds in complete darkness? And see if it equals the deadly Avenger.
Valentine, I envy you. On the color of a sham.
Okay, Johnson, hurry up. Let's have the punchline.
All I ever get to do is walk in on murders, cut people down from chandeliers, hang around the morgue. Dull, routine stuff.
Oh, Johnson, you know you'll have every minute of it.
No one ever asked me to come down and see a whole slew of magicians do all sorts of things, including homicide.
Now, Johnson, will you stop being cute and tell me what kind of tattoo the doc found on Keith's arm?
That makes about as little sense as anything in this cockeyed case. 81-42-W.
That's all?
Yeah, that's all, Miss Brooks.
Uh-huh.
Now, about these rooms being broken into.
I must...
Sergeant, I told you I didn't want to be disturbed. Oh, it's you, Medford. Be with you in a minute.
I must see you, Lieutenant.
In a minute. As I was saying, Valentine, those ransacked rooms.
But that's why I'm here. I know what was stolen.
You know?
Yes.
Well, why didn't you say so?
What are you talking about, Medford?
Well, Valentine, it's what you said before. How could the killer work so quickly in the dark in a matter of seconds?
Well?
He could if he knew the seating plan. Memorize in advance where Geach would be sitting.
You mean someone stole such a seating plan?
From you?
Not the original. But I remembered I left the carbon up in my room, and that's where I was now, and it's missing. Must have been missing ever since this afternoon.
Oh, now you tell us about a seating plan.
They never occurred to
Oh,
me.
this is a great help. Now we know that someone in this whole mob of magicians sold the seating plans. But who?
My name is Elsa, Princess Elsa. I was born in Austria, but I am an American citizen.
You said that before.
I don't know who killed Mr. Geach. I never met him until a few days ago. That's all I know.
But after
That's all I know. Please, please believe me.
Mr. Medford isn't here, Mr. Valentine?
I know. That's why I came up.
Really? Well, I hope you'll pardon the negligee. I wasn't expecting company.
Oh, it's nothing at all. I mean, practically. Well, you made quite an impression on me, Mrs. Medford.
Arlene.
Arlene? Oh, your cigarette.
Oh, ashtray's right there.
Oh, here we are. Uh-huh. Thank you very much. Same cigarette, same lipstick.
What are you doing?
Comparing it with the cigarette I found in Dennis's room.
Give it back to me, you...
But I'll make you a little promise. I'll keep this a secret just between us as long as I can.
George.
Yeah, Brooksy, any luck?
I think real luck.
Where's this Dennis?
He should be up in his room by now. I think he'll just about make it.
You didn't have to encourage him to drink up the whole bar?
He kept telling me how beautiful I was and punctuating it with old fashions. But he kept talking about a matter of honor, too.
Yeah? What did he say?
That Charlie Geach, which was his oldest friend, and he wasn't going to fail him.
Uh-huh.
That Charlie Geach gave him all the proof he needs. And he has it right on him. Tomorrow he would attend to it himself.
You don't know what it is. You didn't get a look at it, huh?
He said he would discuss the matter with me if I went in for a nightcap.
Uh-huh.
I thought it would be better if we joined him for a nightcap. Don't you, darling?
Dennis is dead.
Another letter opener, just like before.
With all his pockets turned inside out like that, there's no use looking for any proof he might have had. Oh, well, let's get out of here, Brooksy. There's somebody else I want to have see this. We hated to do this, Elsa, but you left us no choice. We had to show you what we're up against.
Yes, Princess.
I was afraid to say anything, Lieutenant Johnson. I saw how Mr. Geach was killed, and I was afraid.
When did you meet this Mr. Geach?
Only a few days ago. That's the truth. He told me that he was a good friend of my father. Studied with him in Europe.
Was your father also a magician, Elsa?
One of the finest. He called himself Professor Heinrich. He died in a Nazi concentration camp almost 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
When Mr. Geach saw me, he kept asking me all sorts of questions about my work, my lack of fame and fortune. He seemed puzzled and angry. He talked to Dennis, who was his only friend at a convention here, and then he asked me to change the name of my illusion to the Deadly Avenger.
Mr. Geach was the one who asked you to do that?
Yes, but I knew he was a friend. I felt it. He wanted to do something for me. And he was murdered. And now Dennis wanted to help me, and he's dead, too.
Elsa, your father was mostly a teacher, a magician's magician.
Yes.
An inventor of illusions, huh?
Yes.
All right. Let's talk some more about your father. I hate to bother you at this time of the night, Mr. Plummer, but I have to clear up a point.
Oh, it's quite all right. Excuse my shaving. I always do it at night. Habit of years. Then you get a good early start in the morning.
Yeah, that's right. The convention is over, isn't it?
Yes.
And all magicians go back to their jobs of mystifying and beguiling people. Isn't that the way you put it?
Oh, I'm afraid I am a little pompous when it comes to magic, young man.
Nothing wrong with being enthusiastic about your work. Oh, here, you're getting your fancy bathrobe wet.
Oh, clumsy.
Mr. Plummer, what do you know about a magician named Professor Heinrich?
Oh, he's a fine man. Fine magician. Austrian, I believe.
No, not a showman, I understand, as much as an inventor. Almost a genius.
Yes. Oh, yes, he is.
He was. He died in a German concentration camp years ago.
Professor Heinrich? Dead? Are you sure, Valentine? Of course, I lost track of him, but I never thought...
He was famous for creating those things you call illusions, wasn't he?
Well,
and many people in the magic business studied with him before the war, including you.
Well, yes, but a long, long time ago, long before the war.
Mr. Plummer, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to tell me the truth, no matter whom it hurts. Stealing an illusion from another magician would certainly be considered a breach of honor, wouldn't it?
Stealing?
I've done some checking around, Mr. Plummer. You've never invented anything before Plummer's Fantasia or since, have you?
Well, no.
Professor Heinrich worked with many young men. He loved to encourage them. Now, one of those young men stole his greatest illusion, and after the professor died, he kept it for himself, instead of giving it to the professor's daughter, Elsa.
Now, please, Mr. Valentine, you don't understand.
That's the matter of honor that Charlie Geach was talking about. That he was going to expose before he was killed.
I didn't steal the illusion.
That would be kind of difficult to prove with Professor Heinrich
But
dead.
I bought it from the real thief.
From whom? Remember, there have been 2 murders.
Oh, but you can't understand why I did it. With it, Valentine, I could have power, fame. When I got it, I felt like a kid with a chemistry set who suddenly found out he discovered the atom bomb.
Who sold you Professor Heinrich's illusion?
Yes. Medford. Robert Medford. And I don't know how he got hold of it. I think in his youth he was in Europe, too. But you see, he had to kill Geach. And then he was glad to kill Dennis, because he found out that Mrs.
Nice try, Plummer, nice try, but it won't work. You're the thief and the murderer.
What?
I had to play on your fear to get a confession that you didn't invent Plummer's Fantasia. But it never could be Medford. He'd rather sell his right arm than miss a chance of being a magician. Even being chairman of the entertainment committee is a big deal for him.
Man, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Besides, Medford already had the seating plan, so he wouldn't have to search for one. But you needed it and couldn't just ask for it.
But proof? You had no proof.
Your room was ransacked. Why? There's only one possible reason. You had to try and cover up your tracks.
No.
You thought Geach would keep whatever evidence he had in his room. But he'd already given it to Dennis. So you had to kill Dennis, too.
You'll never even connect me with Professor Heinrich.
I was wondering why you're getting your fancy satin robe all wet. You, a methodical, careful little man. Why don't you take it off while you're shaving?
Stay away from me.
Yes. Because you were studying with Professor Heinrich and Geach just before the war. And you ended up in the same concentration camp, see? 8142W.
You'll never live to tell that to anybody else.
Now, wait a minute, you put that razor down.
Cut my way right through you. You never could shave like this, no, you won't.
You never got anything like this before. And I'll take this before you hurt yourself. No use lying in the bathtub without water. Okay, Plymouth, keep cool while I polish off the rough edges of this matter of honor.
Over a year ago, on this same program, we announced new RPM motor oil, the oil for which we promised doubles engine life, the time between major overhauls due to lubrication. Now, users confirm that fact. One cab company, operating in the tough grind all cabs go through, found new RPM added 100% to engine life. Get new RPM motor oil at any independent Chevron gas station or standard station where they say and mean, we take better care of your car.
I'll never be able to get poor Mr. Geach and Dennis out of my nightmares.
You will, Elsa. Time is the greatest magician of all. Look at the changes it can make in all of us.
See you later. Goodbye, Elsa.
Goodbye.
I hope she never does forget what those two men did for her. I know she won't, and I'm glad.
Brooksy, you're a dyed-in-the-wool sentimentalist. I bet you still have your first doll and your first dance program stashed away somewhere.
Yes, along with some other sentimental relics I've collected since I met you.
Oh? For instance?
Oh, for instance, a blackjack, an old faded poison pen letter, and one sawed-off shotgun.
Touche, Angel, touche.
Tonight's adventure of George Valentine has been brought to you by Standard Oil Company of California on behalf of independent Chevron gas stations and standard stations throughout the West. Robert Bailey is starred as George with Virginia Gregg as Brooksy. Let George Do It was written by David Victor and Jackson Gillis and directed by Kenneth Webb. Ken Christie was heard as Lieutenant Johnson, Ted Osborne as Medford, Larry Dobkin as Plimmer, George Neese as Geach, Gladys Holland as the Princess, and Lee Patrick as Arlene. The music is composed and presented by Eddie Dunstetter. Your announcer, John Heaston. Listen again next week, same time, same station, to Let George Do It. Let George Do It is heard overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. This is the Mutual Don Lee Broadcasting System.
Welcome back. Well, I truly enjoyed this episode. I thought they did a good job with the story, but this featured a magician. And when you have a magician in a mystery, to me, that is just so exciting and so mysterious already. And there are certain things in Golden Age entertainment in particular that trigger me, have set my expectations for a good mystery. Another is if the story is set in the city of New Orleans, a very mysterious city in the Golden Age of radio. This one also threw in some elements of World War II, as we see George put together the solution to this case. Well, we turn now to listener comments and feedback, and Jeffrey says, I just finished reading Mr. Winter's novel, The 20-Year Death. This is by Ariel S. Winter, a 3-part book related to one another by a husband and wife, but otherwise freestanding novelettes. Part 1 is set in 1931, Part 2 in 1941, Part 3 in 1951, and each part is based upon a writer of the noir genre. Part 1 emulates Belgian-French writer George Simonson and his Inspector and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Margot mode. The second part reflects the style of Jim Thompson's After Dark, My Sweet, and part 3 encompasses the writing style of Raymond Chandler, a remarkable work that is a must-read for any fan of classic radio detectives and film noir. Since reading this volume, I've been grabbing up works of Simonson and Thompson, especially discovered a work of Simonson, The Train, which chronicles the flight of a man, a family, and a young woman he meets after he's separated from wife and child following the German invasion of Holland during World War II. A story of grief, love, reunification, and returning home. Hope you have an opportunity to read The 20-Year Death. Well, thanks so much for the recommendation, Jeffrey, and I appreciate it. I probably consume a lot more mystery fiction than the average person. Probably more short mysteries than the longer form. And there's just so much out there, from the cozies, the comedies. I appreciate the advice and information. Any listener recommendations. I'm not as much into some of the newer stuff that tends just to be a little more gory. But that definitely sounds like an interesting story, so I will keep that on my list of items. Thanks so much for sharing. All right, well, that will do it for today. Join us back here tomorrow for Sherlock Holmes. Well, today's episode is brought to you by the financial support of our great listeners. Thank you so much for all of your support. And now it is time to get into today's exciting episode of Sherlock Holmes, The Malicious Moor.
From New York City, the makers of Clipper Craft clothes for men and more than 1,200 leading retail stores from coast to coast present that immortal character created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes, starring John Stanley. This week's story, The Adventure of the Malicious Moor.
Holmes, why the devil are we waiting outside of the Shakespearean Theater here, in the darkness?
Shakespeare, the Bard of Avon, wrote many tragedies, Watson. But this is one he never contemplated. Watson. Look there, in the shadow of that entrance.
Who's it? Seems to be someone lurking around the premises. But who is he?
A killer, Watson.
We're at the door of Dr. John Watson's study, and we're about to hear another of his adventures with the fabulous Sherlock Holmes.
Well, good evening, Mr. Harris.
Well, good evening, Dr. Watson. What memoir are you engaged on tonight?
Well, Mr. Harris, this rather peculiar adventure might have become, were it not for my old friend Holmes, a modern Shakespearean tragedy.
And what do you call it, Dr. Watson?
Holmes and I always refer to it as The Adventure of the Malicious Moor. And after you present to your audience the dramatic facts on Clipper Craft clothes, Mr. Harris, I shall proceed with the facts of this highly unusual story.
Thank you, Doctor. There's a friendly independent store in your community that makes it their business to save you money on really fine Clipper Craft clothes. You see, their business depends on giving you the greatest value for your money. And here's how a typical Clipper Craft dealer explains it to his customers. Quote, "We fingered the sturdy fabrics, we examined the tailoring, we checked the style features. We're thoroughly convinced, as you will be in wearing them, that Clipper Craft's worsted suits are one of this country's best values at only $45. Unquote. Your Clipper Craft dealer is one of America's more than 1,200 independent stores whose immense buying power makes possible extraordinary savings on clothes with the Clipper Craft label. These values are so exceptional that stores selling Clipper Craft proudly invite you to compare them with clothes selling for many dollars more. And now, Dr. Watson, what about the adventure of the Malicious Moor?
Well, Mr. Harris, it began in '98 at Stratford-on-Avon, birthplace of Shakespeare, an historic English shrine. And specifically, it began on the stage of the Shakespeare Memorial Theater, from which the great bard's plays are annually produced by the most gifted dramatic artists of our time. In this year, the players were rehearsing Othello, with the famed actor Roger Mannering playing the Moor and his wife Alice portraying Desdemona. It was the famous deathbed scene in the fifth act, when the director, Albert Forsythe, suddenly stopped the rehearsal.
Out, trumpet, weepst thou...
No, hold on, Mannering. That's the third time you've forgotten your lines. What's wrong, old chap?
I don't know. I just can't seem to concentrate, Forsythe.
You mean you can't play Othello, my dear husband?
Alice, I warn you, stop criticizing.
And they call you Roger Mannering, the great Shakespearean actor.
Stop it, Alice. Stop it, do you hear?
Mr. Forsythe, this rehearsal is a mockery. I simply won't go on playing opposite this amateur.
No, Mrs. Mannering.
Well, how can I play Desdemona
How can you indeed? Your performance, my dear wife, will be nothing to stir the critics.
Please, don't call me my dear wife, Roger. I detest the expression. And I detest you. You know very well I've taken an action for separation.
Alice, listen, I'm sorry. The idea of your leaving me is driving me out of my mind. That's why I can't remember my lines. You know I can't live without you, my dear. And as for that separation, surely you don't mean it.
Oh, but I do.
Oh, Alice, you can't.
Oh, yes,
can't.
I can. And as for me, parting is such sweet sorrow. That's one line out of Shakespeare you'll remember, my dear.
Alice!
No, you two. This is no time for a family quarrel. We've got a rehearsal to finish, a play to present. Mannering.
Yes, Forsythe, what is it?
Better go to your dressing room and learn your lines. We'll resume this rehearsal a little later. Come in. Oh, it's you, Graham. What is it this time?
Mr. Forsythe, if you'd let me try out for the role of Othello.
Oh, ridiculous, Graham. You must be out of your mind.
Mr. Forsythe, I beg of you, give me a chance. I've rehearsed the role. I know every line. I can play Othello as no actor has ever played it.
For the last time, Graham, stop annoying me. I've already given you the part of Roderigo.
Roderigo, a secondary role, a few lines, a weak character. Let me play the Moor, Mr. Forsythe, and I'll show you that I'm the greatest actor in England.
Get out, Graham. Get out of here, you presumptuous fool. You play Othello? Why, you couldn't shine Roger Mannering's boots. Now, get ready for rehearsal, and let's have no more nonsense.
So I can't shine Mannering's boots, eh? Well, we'll see about that.
A pity, Mr. Graham, a pity.
Oh, it's you, Rand, the caretaker.
Ah, it's me, the caretaker, who's heard many an Othello done right and proper. I heard him tell you off through the door while I was sweeping out the corridor.
You won't give me a chance, Rand. Forsythe won't even try me out as Othello.
Aye, and you could do it, lad. I've heard you speak the lines, and you could do it. There's many an actor which hasn't had justice, and many a writer, too. There's thievery in this business like any other.
I'll show them, Rand. I'll show them all somehow. I'll have my chance to play Othello.
Alice?
Oh, Roger. What are you doing in full makeup and a black beard at this hour?
Well, Alice, I want to rehearse our fifth act scene alone here on the stage before the others get here.
Isn't that just a little silly, my dear?
Oh, please, Alice, let's go through the scene just once. I want to make sure of my lines. Please.
Oh, very well.
I'll start the scene well into the scene on that Iago line. You ready?
Ready?
No, Desdemona. His mouth is stopped. Honest Iago hath taken order for it.
Oh, my fair interprets. What? Is he dead?
Had all his hairs been lives, my great revenge had stomach for them all.
Alas, he is betrayed, and I undone.
Out, strumpet! Weepst thou for him to my face?
Oh, banish me, my lord, but kill me not.
Down, strumpet!
Kill me tomorrow. Let me live tonight.
Nay, if you strive.
But half an hour.
Being done, there is no pause.
But while I say one prayer.
Too late.
Roger, don't. You're strangling me under the pillow.
Die, strumpet, die!
Roger, please. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Not dead. Not quite dead. I that am cruel am yet merciful. I would not have thee linger in thy pain. Farewell, Desdemona.
Mr. Forsyth, I am Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. Watson, my confidant and colleague.
Yes, Mr. Holmes. I was informed by the theater board that you've come to supplement the investigation of the official police.
Then you've been misinformed, my dear sir. I take quite the opposite view.
I should say so. The fact is, the official police usually supplement us, eh, Holmes?
Quite. But now, Mr. Forsyth, let us get at the facts. As I understand it, Alice Mannering and her husband rehearsed a scene from Othello in private. Later, when the cast came to the stage, they found Desdemona indeed smothered to death and her husband missing. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. That is correct.
A few moments later, a man was seen rushing from the theater. He leaped on a carriage, whipped up the horses, and escaped.
Yes. The official police are looking for Roger Mannering now, as well as Hugh Graham.
Hugh Graham?
Yes, Dr. Watson. Graham was part of our company, but he had ambitions to play Othello. He was, well, somewhat unbalanced on the subject.
I see. The outcome of all this is a greater tragedy than Shakespeare himself ever bargained for.
Yes, quite, Watson, quite. But now I should like to go outside the theater and examine the road.
Well, Holmes, we saw the carriage tracks at the front entrance of the theater. You yourself said it was the carriage in which the killer made his escape.
Yes, Watson.
Then why the devil are we examining the drive here, near the rear entrance?
Because, my dear fellow, I believe in an exhaustive method. Aha! Look here.
Eh?
The same carriage tracks, only in multiple prints. That means that the escape vehicle waited here at the rear entrance on numerous occasions.
Yes, but Holmes...
Note, too, that this is not the stage entrance, which is on the other side of the building.
Well, what of it, Holmes? You sound as though you'd found something significant.
Perhaps I have, Watson. Perhaps I have. Suppose we look for the caretaker now.
The caretaker? Why?
I should like him to show us Roger Mannering's dressing room. So this is Mannering's dressing room, eh, Rand?
Aye, Mr. Holmes. Him that strangled his wife out on stage.
Well, the place seems to be in some disarray, Holmes.
Yes, Watson. Note the makeup jars. They're all open. And the grease paint very untidily smeared on the dressing table. Aha.
What is it, Holmes?
That huge costume trunk in the corner.
What about it?
There's a spot of blood on it.
Blood, Mr. Holmes?
Precisely. Now then, Rand.
Yes, sir.
You have a key to this trunk?
Aye, why, no, sir. But Mr. Mannering always kept the key on a hook over the mirror.
Ah, yes. Here it is. Now, Watson, suppose we unlock this trunk and look within.
Yes, by all means, Holmes.
Oh, good Lord. There's a body in the trunk, Mr. Holmes. And it's...
Yes, Rand. It's our missing Othello, Roger Mannering.
Shades of William Shakespeare, Dr. Watson, but this is some adventure.
Yes, Mr. Harris. And I might add, there are exciting events still to follow. But before I relate them to you, I know you have something to say about Clippercroft clothes.
I'd like to suggest to you listeners that you do some Sherlock Holmes snooping yourself when you shop for Clippercraft clothes. Your clue is the famous Clippercraft label, your guarantee of quality and value. And just as the mark of sterling represents finest silver, the Clippercraft label stands for the finest clothes at the lowest possible prices. Better yet, when you buy Clippercraft, you get double assurance. The reputation of your Clippercraft dealer, plus the Clippercraft label. And you get superb styling, flawless tailoring, luxurious long-wearing fabrics. Yes, the concentrated purchasing power of more than 1,200 of America's fine independent stores gives you truly fine Clippercraft quality at remarkable Clippercraft savings. For instance, a really expensive-looking Clippercraft topcoat or overcoat comes to only $40 to $47.50. And the price tags on Clippercraft's new zipper-lining topcoats are marked so low, only by seeing them will you believe them. That's why men who know insist on Clippercraft clothes bearing the Clippercraft label. So be sure to visit the Clippercraft store in your city.
These leading stores in the metropolitan area are proud to add their names to Clippercraft in your suits, topcoats, and overcoats. In Manhattan, Saks 34th, Broadway at 34th. John Wanamaker Men's Stores, Broadway at 8th and 67 Liberty Street. In Brooklyn, Abraham and Strauss. In Newark, New Jersey, Boulevard Men's Shop, Kresge, Newark. And in Jamaica, the B&B Clothes Shop, 16408 Jamaica Avenue.
And now, Dr. Watson, you were relating to us the adventure of the malicious Moor.
So I was, Mr. Harris. So I was. The news naturally swept through the theater like wildfire. Meanwhile, Hugh Graham, the actor, was apprehended in a Birmingham tavern and brought back to the theater. Holmes, however, seemed interested in Mannering's body lying in the trunk. The corpse had a knife in its chest and was stripped of Othello's costume. But Mannering's face was still in makeup, a grisly, swarthy death mask. And my friend Holmes summed up what had happened in his usual terse fashion to Forsyth and myself.
It is quite obvious what has transpired here, gentlemen. A killer came into Roger Mannering's dressing room and made himself up, hastily but expertly. Then, dressing in the dead man's costume, he impersonated the Moor, played the deathbed scene with Mrs. Mannering, and strangled her.
Then he ran off, leaving them both dead.
Precisely.
But, Mr. Holmes, who could this bogus Othello be?
It's plain, Forsyth, that the killer was an actor, and a very good one, too. And speaking of actors, suppose we have a look at Hugh Graham. I understand the police are interrogating him at this very moment.
Well, Mr. Holmes, in my opinion, we've got Graham here dead to rights.
No, Inspector. I tell you I didn't do it. I swear it. It's true I wanted to play Othello in Mannering's place, but I tell you I didn't kill him or Mrs. Mannering.
Look here, Graham. You added away from Strafford and Ivan just at the time of these murders. I'd call that a suspicious circumstance now, wouldn't you?
I don't know. I was frustrated. I left in a huff. That's all there is to it.
Well, Mr. Holmes, we're holding Graham here on suspicion of murder. I suppose you'll want to question the suspect now.
No, Inspector, I have no desire to interrogate him.
No questions?
That is precisely what I said.
But Holmes, what the deuce? This isn't at all like you.
My dear Watson, one has only to look at Graham here to ascertain his participation in these crimes. Suppose we put our time to much better use by talking to Rand, the caretaker.
Well, Holmes, the caretaker doesn't seem to be in his office here.
In that case, Watson, we'll wait for him. Unusual fellow, this man Rand.
What do you mean?
Seems to be a literary fellow. Note these bookshelves. They're full of volumes, and all by one author, Bacon.
Bacon?
Sir Francis Bacon, a contemporary of Shakespeare.
Holmes, in view of these ghastly crimes, isn't this interest of yours in literature somewhat inconsequential?
Certainly not, Watson. I merely point out that... the caretaker. He's coming up the corridor.
How do you know it's Rand?
Elementary, my dear Watson, elementary. The steps are ponderous, heavy. Rand is a big man. Good morning, Rand.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson.
How do you do? You were out, and we thought we'd wait.
Aye. Don't get much time in my office these days, I don't. It's been pretty hectic in the theater here, what with the play opening tomorrow night and the arrangements and all. And poor Mr. Forsyth, he's near out of his mind casting a new Othello and a new Desdemona before the curtain rises.
Yes, quite. But now, Rand, I should like to request a favor of you.
Aye, Mr. Holmes?
My friend here, Dr. Watson, will be staying the night at the Red Horse Hotel in the village. However, I must return to London on rather urgent business. Would you be good enough to arrange for a conveyance to the next train?
Aye, Mr. Holmes. I'll see to a carriage right away.
Thank you, Rand.
Holmes, what is all this? Why are you going to London?
First, Watson, I shall have a pipe at Baker Street and indulge in a little quiet reading. After that, I believe I shall go to the theater. Good evening, Watson.
Well, Holmes, you're back, eh?
I am indeed. Caught the afternoon train back to Stratford, and I hope I'm in time.
In time? Time for what?
In time to prevent a new Shakespearean tragedy.
What the devil are you...
At what time does Othello open at the Shakespeare Theatre tonight?
Oh, at 8:40, huh? It's 8:15 now.
Quick, get your hat and come along with me. We must hurry to the theatre at once. Well, Watson, the theatre's crowded tonight with admirers of Shakespeare. There's not an empty seat left in the place.
Dash it, Holmes, never mind the crowd. Where are we going now?
To the caretaker's office again. Here we are.
Oh, he's not here, Holmes. The office is empty.
That's quite. And so are the bookcases. Note that there isn't a volume of Bacon's works left on the shelves.
What the deuce is so strange about that?
Wait. You detect a faint, acrid odor in this room?
No, Holmes, I don't. You sure?
Positive, my dear fellow. My olfactory sense is far more developed than yours. And I assure you...
What is it now, Holmes?
On the table here, these tiny shavings of string.
String?
Precisely, string with a characteristic twist or weave. Come, Watson, we'd better hurry.
Hurry? Hurry where?
Outside the theater, man, and quickly.
Oh, I'm completely baffled by your strange conduct. Why the deuce are we lurking outside the Memorial Theater here?
Quiet, Watson. Don't move.
Holmes, what is this?
Look over there. Near the rear entrance.
There's a man in the shadow.
Yes. The caretaker, Rand.
Rand? Holmes, you mean?
I do indeed, Watson. Rand is the malicious Moor who murdered both Mannering and his wife. He's not yet completed his Shakespearean tragedy.
Holmes, he seems to be bending over something. Now he's just lit a match.
Quick, Watson, after him. Holmes! Drop that match, Rand. Oh, no, you don't. Look out, Holmes! Oh, my arm! My arm! Over you go, Rand!
Good work, Holmes. You threw the bounder right over your shoulder. You stunned him.
The trick of jiu-jitsu, my dear Watson, is quite useful at times.
Holmes, what the devil was this fellow doing?
Trying to blow up the theater, Watson. If you look sharp, you'll note a long fuse and a keg of gunpowder against the wall.
Yes, by Jove. The fragments of string came from the fuse, all right, and the odor was gunpowder.
Precisely. And the fact that the volumes of bacon were missing was also significant. This man considered them of great value and removed them so that they wouldn't be destroyed in the blast.
Holmes, Rand must be mad.
Undoubtedly. But I must correct you on one point, Watson. His name is not Rand. It's Bacon.
Bacon?
Yes, John Bacon, a direct descendant of Sir Francis Bacon. I discovered that pertinent fact in a rare genealogical volume I have at Baker Street. It was then, Watson, I obtained a hint of the motive. You're aware of the Bacon-Shakespeare controversy?
Well, yes, Holmes, I am indeed. It's famous in English literature.
Quite. There are any number of people who claim, through one devious truth or another, that the great plays of William Shakespeare were not written by the bard, but by Sir Francis Bacon instead. This school of Baconians have been quite fanatic on the subject, claiming that Bacon had never been given his rightful due among literary immortals.
Then this man here, Bacon...
Quite. His idea of justice for his ancestor was to stop the playing of Othello, blow up the theater if necessary, rather than let Shakespeare live on.
Yes, but Holmes, you said the killer had to be an actor. This man is a caretaker.
On the contrary, Watson, Bacon here is a fine and accomplished actor with a special talent for mimicry and facial imitation. I received that information in London this morning from my very good friend, Mr. Upham, manager of Covent Garden. Oh, Watson, I meant coming too.
Yes.
It's a lie. Francis Bacon wrote Othello, Romeo and Juliet, and Twelfth Night, and all the rest. He's been robbed, cheated and robbed by Shakespeare. Shakespeare, a second-rate actor, that's what he was.
Watson.
Yes, sir?
I believe you'll find a police inspector in the theater. I'll watch Bacon here while you get him. And after that, we'll go and see Othello ourselves. I believe the curtain's going up, and I should enjoy a little Shakespeare.
Well, Holmes, we'll be in London soon.
Yes, Watson.
I might say I still don't know how you first suspected Rand, Bacon.
An obvious deduction, my dear Watson. You remember the multiple carriage tracks we saw at the rear entrance? The carriage in which Bacon made his getaway?
Yes, I do, but what...
They indicated that the owner was some kind of menial, since he entered the rear entrance on so many occasions. Hence, the caretaker was a possibility. And my theory was strengthened later on by another clue.
Yes? What clue, Holmes?
The murdered Othello, Roger Mannering, was a big man. So too was Bacon. Obviously, the bogus Othello had to be of big of stature to deceive Mrs. Mannering into thinking it was her husband. As for Roger Graham, he's a man of small build, therefore I dismissed his participation with a single look. And Bacon, along with his knowledge of makeup and his gift for mimicry, succeeded in deceiving the luckless Desdemona.
I see. Well, Holmes, I must say this is the first time we've ever ended an adventure by witnessing a Shakespearean play.
Yes, Watson. I thought the performance was superb. However, I could never quite believe the character of Othello.
No? Why not, Holmes?
You'll forgive me, Watson, if I seem to be irreverent. But to my mind, Othello was rather on the stupid side. Certainly, any man with a normal respect for the facts and an elementary knowledge of logic would never have been deceived by Iago and have murdered his wife, Desdemona. Then, Watson, I'm not a playwright. I'm merely a private investigator. Well
Dr. Watson, that was certainly an interesting adventure.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. And I inscribed it with pleasure into my memoirs, being a lover of the theater, as you know.
Yes, and now, Dr. Watson, what adventure will you relate to us next week?
Next week, Mr. Harris, I shall tell you of the Knife of Vengeance. It concerns a gentleman who is an itinerant knife sharpener. What is distinctive about him is that he only sharpens knives to be used for cutting throats.
The makers of Clipper Craft clothes in more than 1,200 stores from coast to coast have brought you another in the new series of broadcasts featuring the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes. Our stories are based upon the character Sherlock Holmes, created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and the program is produced and directed by Basil Loughrane. Sherlock Holmes is played by John Stanley, Dr. Watson by George Spelden. This week's story was written by Max Ehrlich, with special music by Albert Berman. If you don't know your Clipper Craft dealer, write Clipper Craft, 200 Fifth Avenue, New York City. Speaking for Clipper Craft Clothes, this is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Welcome back. Well, the literary debate over who wrote Shakespeare's plays was perhaps a little bit more heated in the late 19th and early to mid 20th centuries, though perhaps that was a slight exaggeration in search of the villain by our writers. Kind of is a bit of a stretch because, you know, we live, of course, in the age of global terrorism, and we're used to some different reasons for this sort of thing. So a literary debate over Shakespeare versus Bacon doesn't quite seem worth the sort of insane actions, but madmen don't need a whole lot of explanation. Now, if you had read Othello, and you remembered it, you may have gotten a very early reveal, a hint that it was this Bacon fellow who was the murderer. Because that conversation he had with that younger actor who wanted to play Othello, it was reminiscent of a conversation that Iago had with Cassio in Othello. I don't know whether that was intentional or whether that just worked its way into the plot because they were thinking about Othello. I love Shakespeare. I somehow or another, with everything else we watch and follow, I don't end up spending as much time on it. But there's some great Shakespeare. They did even finally adapt in the 1950s on Suspense, Othello with old-time radio, back when Elliot Lewis was heading things up on Suspense. I often thought it'd be nice to get an opportunity to visit all of the old-time radio Shakespeare adaptations. Orson Welles did quite a few, both on the Columbia Workshop and also on the Mercury Theater. Well, that's actually all for today. Oh, one thing I do want to let you know, I've added another show to the list of those we're going to be doing. Public Defender, Roger Kilgore, Public Defender, has been added to the list. We're really low on the lawyer shows, so I was kind of borderline on them. We got 2 weeks of programming only, and I think it makes a very interesting historical note, so I've added it to that list of programs we hope to get to someday. All right, well, that will do it for today. Join us back here tomorrow for yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and we'll be back next Thursday with another episode of Sherlock Holmes. Well, I do want to encourage you, if you've not already, to pick up a copy of my ebook, All I Needed to Know, I Learned from Columbo. It's available for your Kindle on Amazon and also in the Apple Store, Barnes & Noble, Nook stores, and for all other e-readers over at smashwords.com. It's a nice read. We take a look at 7 great detectives of fiction, including Sherlock Holmes, Nero Wolfe, Columbo, and Monk. and find out what life lessons can be garnered from their stories. We have 7 detectives, 12 life lessons. I think you'll enjoy it. Also, I have a new novella out as a sequel to Tales of the Dim Night called Powerhouse Flies Again. Available as a Kindle book. All right, well, now it's time to get into today's episode of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, the Ben Bryson matter.
For your listening enjoyment, John Lund as Johnny Dollar.
This is Ed Murphy, Johnny. Keystone Mutual.
Oh, hi, Ed.
That's so good, Johnny. Could you come over to the office right away?
Well, sure, Ed, but what's
I don't want to go into it on the phone, Johnny. It's going to be quite a shock to you. It's about Ben Bryson.
Ben Bryson?
Yeah, a good friend of yours, isn't he?
Yeah, he was. Too bad he had to die that way.
You're wrong, Johnny. Too bad he didn't die a year sooner. Come on over to the office.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office, Keystone Mutual Assurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Ben Bryson matter. Expense account item 1, $2.40. Taxi fare from my apartment to the Keystone building and the office of Ed Murphy, Vice President.
I thought as much of Ben as I would my own son. I watched him work his way up to the top job in this company, Chief Adjuster for the West Coast, head of our San Francisco claims office. Not bad for a young man. I was proud of Ben.
Yeah, I know, Ed.
And then that accident last month. Foggy night, he missed a curve. Drove his car off a cliff into the Pacific Ocean. And that was that. The end.
Only it wasn't the end, or you wouldn't call me over here.
No, it wasn't, Johnny. Within 2 weeks after Ben's death, we started getting complaints from some of our clients out there. Demands for adjustment on claims Ben had reported paid weeks before. Requests for settlement, so on. We couldn't figure it, but we went to work quietly, and we found out.
Oh? You found out what?
Ben's accounts had been doctored for a long time, Johnny. They were short, way short. In the months before he was killed, he'd embezzled nearly $80,000 from the company.
Not Ben Bryson, Ed. Anybody else, yes. But money never meant anything to Ben.
Johnny, here's a ticket to San Francisco. Plane leaves in 2 hours.
Now, wait a second, Ed. I think I'd like to pass this one.
Yeah, so would I, but we can't, you know that. Left a lot of questions, Johnny. They've got to be answered. And $80,000 of the company's money is missing. Has to be accounted for.
Yeah, I know, but maybe you ought to get somebody else, Ed.
I'd be awful grateful if you'd do it, Johnny. You'd have the best chance. You knew him. He was your friend.
Yeah, he was my friend.
I know how you feel. Johnny.
All right, Ed. Somebody's got to do it. And like you said, Ben was my friend. Let's have the ticket. Expense account item 2, $8.90. Tips, incidentals, and taxi from the San Francisco airport to the Fairmont Hotel, where I taxied to Ben's last address, the Franciscan Arms apartment. Ben had always been the 2-room bachelor walk-up type, but the Franciscan Arms was equal parts of glitter, glass, swank, and price, with a uniformed doorman, bar off the lobby, and a manager with a gardenia in his lapel. A real gardenia.
I'm most desirous of assisting you in every way possible, Mr. Dollar, but I'm terribly afraid there's simply very little I can tell you about the late Mr. Bryson.
Discretion, you mean? Policy of the house?
No, of course we do try to protect the privacy of our residents.
Even to the extent of turning down $20?
Well, under the circumstances. Thank you. Gratuities of this nature are always welcome. Pardon me. Yes? Oh, yes, Madame Rendry. Yes, I'll send one of the boys up, little Coco. Yes, right away, Madame Rendry. Nasty little poodle. She ought to walk it herself, take some weight off her. Now, about Mr. Bryson. He'd been our guest for about 6 months at the time of his tragic accident. A true gentleman, bon vivant, and, well, on the crassly materialistic side, a free spender.
I'm sorry, 20 is all I'll go for.
Mr. Dollar.
What about visitors? Friends here in the building?
None that I can recall. Or except Mrs. Kern, of course.
Mrs. Kern?
One of the loveliest and most charming guests we've ever had the pleasure. Pardon? Yes? Yes, Madame Rendricks. The boy is on his way. Oh, yes. Well, please tell Coco I'm so sorry. Coco, what a ridiculous name for a dog.
Yeah, and how about Mrs. Kern?
Well, she and Mr. Bryson were inseparable.
And Mr. Kern?
Deceased. Early this year, I believe.
Wonder if I could talk to Mrs. Kern.
Oh, I'm afraid not, Mr. Dollar. She's been gone for 10 days.
Gone? Where?
I haven't the faintest idea. She'll be back eventually, though, of course. She still has her apartment here. Oh, that poor dear. Such a tragic coincidence.
What do you mean, tragic coincidence?
Well, as I understand it, Mrs. Kern's husband also died in some sort of accident.
Sure, I've been tending bar here for 2 years, Mr. Dollar. I was here before Mr. Bryson moved in, and I'm still here now that he's gone. I guess I knew as much about him as a bartender usually knows. If you were his friend, though, how come you're asking me the questions?
Well, I hadn't seen him for quite a while. He got out of touch. You know how it goes.
Yeah, friends drift apart. It's a mixed-up world, getting more mixed up all the time. Oh, yes, sir, the usual. Wants a double martini. Always wants a double martini. Yeah, Mr. Bryson spent a lot of time in here. Always with Alvy, of course.
Alvy?
Mrs. Kern, young widow that lives here in the building. Everybody calls her Alvy. You know, makes friends easy.
And one of her friends was Ben.
The main one. With her every night. I guess he was nuts about her.
He was nuts about something.
Well, can't say as I blame him. You ought to see her. Personally, though, I'd hate to be married to a doll like that. He'd go right through a man, leave him high and dry. A doll like that's born to be a widow.
Was Ben in here the night he was killed?
Yeah, left about 9. 2 hours later, he was dead.
He left alone, I suppose.
No, Alvy was with him.
Expense account item 3. $20 tip to the apartment house manager. And $1.25 taxi to my hotel. I couldn't figure the next step. Alvy Kern was the key, and without her, I was stopped cold. None of Ben's old friends had seen him since he started going around with her. His office girl knew how to type, and not much else. It was a cold trail. $80,000 had disappeared, and Ben had driven off a cliff and died. There weren't many answers left behind. Then, 2 days later, I got a phone call. Johnny Dollar.
Oh, this is Maurice, Mr. Dollar. At the Franciscan Arms.
Oh, yeah.
I have some very interesting information.
Well?
Well,
Oh, all right, $20. What's the information?
well, I've just received a letter from Mrs. Kern. She wants me to forward her mail in care of American Express, Panama City, Panama.
Panama City. Okay, Maurice, thanks. Thanks a lot. Expense account item 4, $92.47. Hotel, telegrams, and incidentals in San Francisco. Expense account item 5, $267.20. Airfare and incidentals to Panama City, Panama.
Atención, por favor. Remata número 508 para la ciudad de Guatemala y Nuevo Nuevo.
Un momentito, señor. You are Senor Dollar, no?
Why, yes.
El capitán de Vano of the Panama Federal Police, a sus órdenes. We have received your radiogram, senor, and I have been instructed to cooperate with you intentionally.
Oh, good. What about Mrs. Kern? Had any luck finding her?
But of course. She's registered at the Hotel Primeto. Most unusual. It is small, located on the waterfront. One would think to find her in surroundings more cheap.
Is she alone?
So I am informed. So, what are your plans, Senor Dollar?
Well, I want to talk to her first. After that, we'll see. I'll check with you later, Captain.
I've heard your name before, Mr. Dollar. Then Mr. Bryson mentioned you.
Was it Ben or Mr. Bryson?
It was Ben. Please, I'd rather not talk about it, Mr. Dollar. Ever since that terrible accident, all I wanted to do is forget. That's why I came down here. To get away and try to forget.
You thought quite a lot of him, huh?
We were going to be married.
Well, too bad it didn't work out. You'd have had a good life. Ben's wealth and your...
Well, I had the idea that he'd just worked for an insurance company.
And lived the way he did? Oh, come now, Mrs. Kern.
Well, actually, that side of it didn't seem to matter much. My husband left me quite well off, and
How long were you married before he died?
only 10 months.
You do have bad luck, don't you?
Mr. Dollar, I'm not sure I understand this attitude.
Relax. Here. Have a cigarette.
No, thanks. My vices don't include smoking.
Oh? Mind if I do?
Of course not.
Thanks. You have a suite here, Mrs. Kern? Or just this room?
Just this room? Why?
Well, then I imagine this door leads to the bath.
What are you doing?
It does. But it's empty.
Of course it's empty.
Then the only other possibility is that closet.
Stay away from there.
There was cigarette smoke in the air when I came in, stubs in the ashtray. If you don't smoke, where did they come from?
There's no one here. Stay back or I'll...
Look, Mrs. Kern, turning out the lights may be romantic, but it's not the best... Oh! I shook my head trying to clear it, finally staggered to my feet and found the light switch. Alvy Kern was cowering against the wall, staring at me, scared but not saying anything. I stumbled toward the door. The corridor was empty.
You're wrong, Johnny. There wasn't anybody here. I'm the one who hit you.
To hit like that, you'd have to grow a fist 3 times your size. No. I know what the game is now. I should have caught on sooner, but I didn't.
There's no game. I don't know what you mean.
Look, only one person I know tears cigarettes apart and shreds the paper that way.
No, Johnny, you're wrong.
The two of you in it together all along. They didn't find a body because there wasn't anybody. He's still alive, hiding out. I know who hit me. It was Ben Bryson.
And now, with our star, John Lund, we bring you the second act of Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar.
Expense account item 5. 40 cents, U.S. currency, for a handful of aspirin tablets. Ben, or whoever it was who slugged me, had got away from the hotel without being caught. I gave Ben's description to Captain Devano, and I went to bed. At breakfast in the morning, I still hadn't heard from Devano, but I did get a repeat performance from my other little playmate.
Good morning, Johnny.
Oh, good morning, Mrs. Kern.
Mind if I sit down?
Not if you don't double up your fist again.
I can explain that, Johnny.
With all night to think it over? I'll bet you can.
I mean, really. I wasn't the one who hit you, of course. It was silly to claim such a thing, but it wasn't Ben either, Johnny. You don't mind if I call you Johnny. I mean, you were a close friend.
All right, Mrs. Kern. If it wasn't you and it wasn't Ben, who was it?
Well, the name doesn't really matter. Let's just say it was a friend who'd rather not be brought into the picture.
And let's also say that wasn't a bad attempt. But I still don't buy it.
It's true, Johnny. Ben was drowned in San Francisco when his car ran off into the ocean. He's dead.
He can't be dead in San Francisco and still be tearing up cigarettes in Panama.
I did that. I didn't smoke them. But I tore them that way. I picked up the habit from Ben. You took a guess and you were wrong. So forget it. Let's be friends.
Sorry, I can't afford it.
Do you think I sell my friendship?
It cost Ben $80,000 of the company's money. Did you get half of it, Mrs. Kern?
No.
How much does he have left?
Stop it. Can't you understand anything? Ben is dead.
No, he's not. But I wish he were.
What do you mean?
Just that.
But he was your friend.
That's right. I thought a lot of him. It hit pretty hard when I learned he'd been stealing from his company.
Johnny.
So I took the job of digging into the mess and trying to straighten it out. And now I find out he's still alive.
No.
So now I've got to catch him and take him back. That's going to be even tougher.
Oh, you wouldn't have to, Johnny. That is, if he were alive.
No, I wouldn't have to, but I'm going to.
Johnny.
Con tu permiso, Senor Dollar. Oh, morning, Captain. It is possible to speak a word with you, Senor.
Sure. Excuse me, Mrs. Kern.
Certainly.
I did not wish to mention the matter before the Senora.
Turned up something?
Senor, my men have located Senor Bryson.
Here? This is the place?
Si, senor. This man is leaving one of the little fishing boats which are tied to the embarcadero. The number 3 one, which is blue painted, you see?
Yeah, I see it. Well, it sort of figures. If he wanted to hide out, this would be safer than living in a hotel. You're pretty sure it's him, huh?
Yes, sabe, senor, but I think so. Miguel Pascaro, who is on the boat, said this man come 1 month ago and paid plenty money just to live on the boat tied up at the shore. And he is like you described, senor. I think so.
All right. I'll go on board and talk to him. I think it'll work better if I go alone.
Si, senor, I wait for you here.
Good. Well? Ben? Ben? Where are you?
Cabin's unlocked. Come on in.
Well, it's been a long time, Ben.
Come in, Johnny. Have a seat.
Thanks.
You'll have to overlook this litter. Temporary quarters. Johnny, why did it have to be you?
It had to be somebody, Ben. Sooner or later. You should have known that.
I guess. How'd you get onto it? Alvy?
Yeah, I traced her. Followed her down here.
She fouled up, Johnny. She wasn't supposed to come for 6 months, and the first thing I know, she's here. Said she couldn't wait.
Why did you do it, Ben?
You've seen Alvy. Do you need any more answers?
She worth the price?
For me? Sure. This face of mine always stopped the dames.
And Alvy was different?
She fell as hard as I did. I didn't know women like her even existed. She's for me all the way.
But you still had to buy her.
Mm-mm.
Price tag, $80,000.
No, you're wrong. It was only that Alvy'd always lived high, and I had to live that way, too, to be around her.
What were your plans, Ben? What were you going to do?
Go to Rio, Argentina, maybe, start a new life together. That's why I needed all that money. I didn't spend that much.
And Alvy agreed to that idea?
Sure, she was all for it.
Then why did she keep her apartment in San Francisco?
She didn't. Oh, you're wrong, Johnny. Somebody gave you a bum steer. She cut loose from everything. She told me she did.
Well, we can check on it when we get back there.
Easy, Johnny, easy. I've had this gun on you ever since you came aboard. Now, don't make me use it.
Would you use it, Ben?
I'm up a dead end, Johnny, and I know it. But I'm still going on as far as I can. Don't try to stop me, Johnny. I don't want to kill you. But if I have to, I will.
I let him go. He backed out the cabin door, closed it behind him, and barred it on the outside. I heard his steps cross the deck and run along the wharf. And I waited for Captain Devano to call out, challenge him. But the only sound was a car motor starting up and speeding away. Then I heard somebody come running down the wharf.
Senor Dollar, are you there?
Yeah. Get the door open. Where is he? What happened?
He's gone, senor. He takes the car. It is me to blame, senor. I'm not alert before I know...
Oh, never mind. Where's the nearest telephone? It's been over an hour. I should have found him by now.
Oh, they will, senor. In Panama, we do not have so many roads, and they're all, how you say, blockaded.
Well, he might have slipped through before we got to a phone.
Oh, there was no time at the hotel. They say he... Aquí está. Capitán Devano. Sí, yo soy cerquito del mar. Sí. No. Qué lástima, sí. Cuídelo bien, ¿eh? Vamos ahorita. Adiós. They have been found, Senor Dollar.
Yeah? Where?
They have tried to go by the old road on the cliffs. It is too dangerous. They have missed the curve and go into the ocean.
What?
The car is under 10 meters of water. There is no signs of life.
Expense account item 6, $92 to charter a power launch and hire the services of a diver. The sea was calm, but the water wasn't clear enough to see more than just the outline of the car lying on the bottom. We waited for the diver to come up, and I looked up at the cliff towering over us. There's been another cliff like that in San Francisco.
Yes, senor. He's coming up.
Oh, good.
¿Qué pasó, Piano?
Espérate. El cuerpo de la señora sí está abajo. Pero es el único. No hay otro.
¿Estás seguro?
Sí, señora. No hay otro abajo.
What's the matter, Captain?
We have found only the body of Mrs. Kern. Senor Bryson's body is not in the car.
The same pattern. A car plunging off a cliff into the ocean and a body missing from it. Only this time I knew it wasn't fake. Ben couldn't have done a thing like that to Albie. Not to Albie. I looked up at the cliff. Steep, but not vertical. A car would have rolled, bounced, coming down. I had Captain Devano run the launch in close, and I jumped onto the rocks and started to climb. I'd made it halfway to the top before I found him, lying jammed in a crevasse, broken and dying. Is she dead? Yeah. We didn't make it, Johnny. You didn't have a chance, Ben. I know. It's kind of funny. This, just like we did it in San Francisco. I mean, this time it's real. Yeah. This time it's real. Yeah. Better not try to talk, Ben. We'll get some ropes down from the top. Get you out of here. No use, Johnny. Is Albie... She's dead, Ben. You were right about her, Johnny. Forget it. I made her come with me in the car. Held a gun on her. She got mad. Spilled the whole story. Ben, no. She didn't love me. Not any of the time. She admitted it. And I thought she did. And that was fine. Nobody else ever let me even think it. Ben, it's no good talking this way. It won't matter, Johnny. Like you said, I don't have a chance. But you know something? I think I'd do the same thing again. Maybe there's no answer for a guy like me. I don't know, Ben. I'm not a judge. Kind of figures, you know, I'll be dying too. I bought her and paid for her, Johnny. I ought to be able to take her with me. After all, Easy, Ben. Johnny, the money, what's left of it, inside my coat. Give it to Ed. Tell him I'm sorry. Make him understand. He will. You too, Johnny. I'm sorry. You don't know what else? Forget it. I don't think I'd do it again. Crazy, eh? Other times we all get crazy, Ben. Yeah.
Thanks, Jerry. Thanks.
Go on, then. Expense account item 7, $26.30. Hotel, taxi, and miscellaneous while in Panama. Expense account item 8, $312.90 airfare and incidentals back to Hartford. Expense account total, $823.82. I'm enclosing a cashier's check for $72,652 recovered from Ben Bryson, embezzler. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Welcome back. Well, these are always a bit downbeat when Johnny has to deal with a crooked fellow insurance investigator, particularly one who is a friend. And this episode is, of course, one of those that was repeated as a 5-parter on Bob Bailey when he took over Johnny Dollar. Speaking of insurance investigators, we had a question. I intended to address it last week, but I don't believe I did. Bill asked, just how did Johnny Dollar get paid? I've heard a mention or two of his being eligible for rewards, but assume he was paid some sort of fee by the insurance companies in addition to his expense account. For all the danger he faced and the money he saved the insurance company, he certainly deserved big-time competition. Usually there was some sort of fee involved. It could, on occasion, be a percentage of a recovery, or it could be flat commission, particularly on those cases where there wasn't a whole lot of expectation of there being anything specifically that could be done to help out the insurance company. I did find an article on insurance investigators on the Financial Careers website on about.com, and according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median annual compensation for insurance investigators in 2006 was about $51,000 per, with the top 10% earning over $79,000 a year. I would bet Johnny Dollar would be in that higher bracket, whatever $79,000 in 2006 dollars would be in the, it'd be about $10,500 a year in 1953 dollars, which wasn't a bad living back then. And Johnny's had it away from when he had an expense account, pretty modest taste. He's got a pretty simple apartment in Hartford, so. Yeah, I think he would definitely make a fairly good living. All right, well, that will be all for today. Join us back here on Monday for the adventures of Frank Race. And then on Friday, it'll be another adventure with yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Send your comments to box13 at greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives and call us 208-991-4783. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off. Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off. Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off. Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.